Perfect. 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 Perfect.
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. Number one sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies and the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game, party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Who that family? What's going on, family? Who that to all the beautiful black and gold family members in the building? Welcome to another installment of the Great Saints Think Tank, also known as the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q, and if you don't know, like I said, the Great Saints Think Tank is alive in effect for another beautiful, somewhat overcasted Saturday, but nonetheless, it's a beautiful time to talk Saints football, baby. Hope y'all been having a fantastic day. Hope y'all been all right, family. Much love to all the Black and Gold family members in the building. Scoob, who that to my boy Scoob, GM Kev, who that to you as well. Heavy C Henderson says who that and from Dallas, who that to you, Heavy C. Appreciate you. Kelvin Washington from Phoenix, Arizona. Much love to Kelvin. Henry Sanchez, what's good with it, fam? He says it's been saying it, gotta free the cap space. Thank you, fam. Cheryl, who that for life? Cheryl, what up, Cheryl? Much love to your family. Who that to you? Charles Mayfield, who that to you? Big ups to you. Donovan Grayson, who that to you? And all the family members as well. Gundam, what up, Gundam 13 in the building. Who that to your family? Good to see you in the chat. Who else? We got Superstar Louisiana boy. Who that to your family? Much love to you. Zoe, my goodness. What up, Zoe? Who that to you, fam? Good to see you, fam. Derek L, what up, D? My dog Derek L in the building. Dada. Big dog Dada in the building as well. Good to see your family. Tori Shepard Sr., who that to you, Tori? Much love to your family. Good to see you in the chat as well. And all the beautiful Black and Gold family members, 985J in the building. Good to see your family. KT, the Southern Gent 22. What up, KT? What's happening, family? Jason King, who that to you, Jason? Much love. Big Smoke Dog. What up, Smoke? Who that to you as well? House of Twigger. What up, family? How you doing, family? Good to see you in the chat as well. What up, Dr. Key? Much love to you, Dr. Key. Who that to you as well? Tremal. What up, Tremal? Dominique, who that to you as well? All the beautiful family members. Venom Rage, what up, Venom Rage? Good to see you. See you in the chat. William Musgrove, who that to you, William? I see you, family. I see you. Carlito, what up, Carlito? Who that to you as well, family? Clint, what up, Clint F in the building? What up, Clint? Good to see you, family. Much love to you. Slade Smith, what up, Slade? How you doing, family? Who that nation? Who that nation in the building? Who that nation? What happening, fam? What's good with it? BPW 2001, much love to you as well, family. Who that to you? And all the beautiful Black and Gold family members chiming in the building. Please hit the like button. If I didn't call your name out, hit the chat with a who that, and I'll give you a who that back. You know how we rock it here. I want to acknowledge everybody tuning in the live stream. Even if you don't have something to say on the live chat, just say who that, Big Q. Who that? And I'ma chime y'all, family. Travis Daisy, who that to you, Travis? What up, family? Good to see you as well. Much love to the family members in the building, family. Another installment of the Sports Coma episode 122. 523 of these things over the summation of 5 years of the Sports Coma, well over 5 years. Over 30 years of Black and Gold love following the Black and Gold family. We are here to talk Saints. You know, we here to talk Saints. So without further ado, what up, Wine? 911, what up, family? Good to see you in the chat as well. Who that to your family? Revolt Control in the building. Who that to my dog Revolt out there in ATL, Georgia. Big ups to Revolt. Big ups to him indeed. And this is a fantastic time, man, to talk Saints football. Like I said, family, we're going to continue to talk of football. Now in today's show, we're going to talk about, of course, Larry Warford was released. We were waiting for this to happen maybe a week or so ago after the draft. We were looking at trades that possibly occur with Larry Warford. Ultimately, the Black and Gold decided to say, you know what, we're just going to cut our, we couldn't trade you. I imagine they tried to trade him and not much to say. Iceman, what up, Iceman? Good to see your family. Who that to you as well? And the Saints couldn't get rid of him. Ricky Jones, what up, Ricky? Who that to your family? Big ups to you. Saints couldn't trade him. I'm pretty sure they would if they could, but they couldn't, so they cut him. Slick Rick, what up, Slick? Good to see you. Ain't missing nothing, Slick. We just firing it up, baby. Just firing up you right on time. So that's what it come down to me. Larry Warford is a guy who was down here three Pro Bowls coming here? I know 2 of them, but I want to say 3. I corrected myself there. I want to say 3 Pro Bowls since he's been down here. That's amazing. But the price tag was quite high. And I've read a couple of articles. One of the articles in particular made mention of the fact that that was the biggest deal Larry Warford signed with the Saints, one of the biggest deals since the Jarius Byrd deal, when they gave Jarius Byrd all of that money. But unlike Jarius Byrd, they really had gotten some production from Larry Warford. And something went awry where the Saints said, we're going to use the top end of this draft to fix the offensive line position where they knew he wasn't in the long-term plans of the team. And ultimately they said, it's time for us to get rid of him. Well, the Saints get $7 to $8 million, just shy of just south of $8 million back from Larry Warford, releasing him. Could that possibly be something where the Saints could use it to pick up another free agent? Or even though they're at the 90 mark, I want to say as far as their roster is concerned, I counted it up yesterday. They are at the 90 mark, I want to say, with Austin Carr's addition. But releasing Larry Warford, I guess it does open a spot if you count him on the roster as well, and I guess you have to. But do they go after another guy in the free agency, perhaps, or maybe they tend to take some of that money and go after Kamara or reworking deals with Elvin Kamara or some of the people that they have. It gives you options, is what I'm saying. So I actually do really think that it was a smart move to do it, because freeing up $7-8 million, getting a younger offensive lineman there to kind of open things up, moving McCoy to where Walford's position at the right guard is a smart move. When they did it, a lot of people were upset about the move, thinking the Saints should have went for defensive personnel, pass rusher, cornerback, safety, someone a wide receiver, in the likes. And a lot of people were validated for thinking that way, to be quite honest with you, because we definitely needed help in all those positions mentioned. Who that to you, Lewis? Good to see you, Lewis, in the building as well. Sports Talk 365, what's good with the family? It says, I like to see Warford compete for his job first, then get released after he fails to improve. Shedrick, who that to your family? Good to see you. Shedrick Mosley as well. Who that to the family members joining in the live stream? That's interesting take, that Sport Talk 365 fam. Much love to you. Very interesting take. But the Saints have seen enough of Larry Warford. They've seen enough of Warford. They said, you know what? We're going to cut our losses. We've got a cheaper option here with a higher ceiling. We're going to operate with this dude here and go forward. And I'm not upset about that, because they do need extra money to kind of rework and sign people like Elvin Kamara or possibly another impact veteran in the free agency process. I mean, it gives you options, at least that much. But we'll talk about that. We'll read the article on that as well today. We'll also get into the schedule again. We covered it in the middle of the week show. The streaming was kind of ridiculous. Usually when I get to certain areas when I'm traveling, the internet stinks. It sucks. And of course I have a device that my phone that I didn't do and use, and it did a little bit better. But, it's nothing beats it being home in the lab, man, where you could be able to do it. But we'll go over the schedule once again, and I have it on display for everybody who hadn't gotten a chance to see the schedule and move forward on it. Also, we'll go over the roster as well, active roster. Then I'll open up the phone lines, let family members chime in. That's right. We're going to open up the live stream, the phone lines for people to call in, get they Saint Talk on this Friday, Saturday edition of the Sports Coma. Sport Talk says, are we sure that McCoy is fit to play at right guard or at guard? Only played a handful of times the position. Very true. But if any, McCoy, watching him play the position, even though he played it, not that much, maybe twice, I want to say, when he was at the University of Texas, when he was at Texas A&M. I just think that if you take a guy like McCoy and put him, I think he could play that guard position. He was pretty good center now. So and he moving there without not all the responsibilities of the center. Only thing he could just focus and concentrate on is what he do, as opposed to all the other stuff that a center has to get right with the quarterback and all that kind of stuff, being the central portion of the offensive line. He has less responsibilities in that perspective. And I think that if anybody could do it, McCoy can do it. And if Larry, and I think McCoy has a definitely higher upside than Andrus Peat. No disrespect to Andrus. And, I like Andrus Peat. I always defend him on this show. But I think McCoy does have a higher ceiling. And when he settles into the guard position, I think he'll excel there. Just like Andrus, who never played any guard anytime during his collegiate career, was shifted from tackle, both sides of the tackle position, both sides of the guard position, and ultimately became an alternate Pro Bowl guard at the position. If Andrus Peat could do it, no disrespect to Andrus, I'm telling you, McCoy can. So that's my spill on it. Zach Johnson, who that to you, Zach? Kelly Bell, who that to you, Kelly? Good to see you. Who that to you, Kelly? In the building. Travis Dace says, how much to pay Kamara? I'm thinking $7-8 million per year. That's what I initially said. 7-8 might be. That is a real idealistic mindset or figure that you would pay a guy like Kamara, in my opinion. But you talking about Christian McCaffrey, getting what, 14, 15 million a year? I mean, and you telling Kamara, no, we're going to pay you 8, then I just don't think it plays like that. Because they watch each other's contracts and they gauge the statistics and say, well, McCaffrey did this and Kamara was behind him, so he might not get 15, but we're looking at 12, 13, somewhere in there. And the Saints say, well, I'm not going to do 12 or 13. Perhaps we meet you somewhere in the middle. Maybe we can go 10, 11. And I often said that a 3-year deal, because I'm thinking maybe a 3-year deal with Alvin Kamara at $36 million, between $35 to $40 million is what it possibly can look like for a 3 to 4 year deal for Alvin Kamara. And that roughly works out to $10 million a year. But we'll see how it shape up, man. The Saints might not be actually using that money for that. They might be looking to just to have salary for whatever else they need to do. Maybe an impact veteran. I hear one of the family members said Jadeveon Clowney. That would be interesting, to be honest with you. That would be interesting. Always the one you don't expect, right, fam? Jason said, Zach says, I'm excited. It's definitely going to be a good game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Glenn Witt, who that to you? Crass. What up, Crass? Good to see you as well, family. Much love to you in the building. Good to see the family members. Now, like I said, we're going to cover those stories today. For those just tuning in, please hit the like button. We're going to get down to business. I'm going to just say it once again. We're going to cover the Larry Warford deal. We're going to go over that article. We also are going to review the schedule again. And we'll put the schedule on the screen, let the family members take a look at it. And then we're going to look at the overall roster as currently constructed. And then after that, I'm open up the phone lines and we're going to have add to it. Revolt says, no way, Q. Kamara will never accept $8 million. His agent will lose all his clients. No, I agree with you, Revolt. I don't think he gets 8. That'll be the idealistic. They'll fork out that right now for him. They'll fire Eason and everything and get it going. I just don't think it is shy of that 10 million mark. I think it's 10 million and north of 10 million, to be honest with you. It's going to be double digit money for Kamara. We're at a junction now. People say, well, Q, if we ain't going to pay him, trade him. Obviously, we're going to keep him. He represents, 60 to 70% of the Saints offense. It runs through him, and that's a lot for you to then take somebody else and try to put in that position. And you're sitting at the precipice of a Super Bowl appearance. So you're kind of roped into this situation. And if anybody is going to collect $10+ million from the Saints outside of Mike Thomas, it most certainly could be a guy like Alvin Kamara. And if you look at from a futuristic standpoint with Jared Cook and all these other aging veteran guys who's holding the $8 million against the books, you can see Jared Cook next year falling off the books and you gaining some of that money back. And you can see preferably a youth movement of such. If Drew Brees does retire, in my perspective, you could look at Terron Armstead getting up out of here too. And the Saints then building that offensive line with newer, younger, cheaper draft picks perhaps that can then do the same thing. A lot of this old stuff like paying Terron Armstead all of his money, all this kind of stuff toward the back of his career, I just don't think they'll do it if Drew Brees ain't there. If Drew Brees wasn't the starting quarterback this year, I don't think Terron Armstead is that tackle. I'm just going to keep it real with you, for real. Cap Man at 22 said, I say Alpha County 14 million. And he'll thank you. Who that to you, Cap Man at 2020? Jeff Dyson. Who that to you, Jeff? Who that? Welcome to the live stream, family. Slick Rick says, but y'all feel like he has proved to be an every down back. He's done enough, in my opinion. And I think last year, if you look at the 2 out of the 3 years that he's been here, the 3 playable years that he's been here, the first 2 years he's been solid every step of the way. Last year he was hurt. You could consider him being butthurt for whatever reason. But I think that a lot of that, the injuries and then not being excited and all this kind of stuff, the contract. And I think if you have a guy like that, some guys you got to raise the bar up and they have to be a star mark somewhere where you treat some of these guys a little differently. God knows they do it with Drew Brees. They don't play with Drew Brees behind his money. They do not play with Drew behind his money. So they are aware to be proactive and make things happen for certain players they really want to be here. That standard should be the same for all impact players. All impact players. You know, we all know that not every player on your team could be a star, but for those guys that represent that star level talent, that star level production, you've got to be proactive with those guys or risk them being disgruntled. Risk them becoming disgruntled. That's how it is. That's common human nature. When you see all these players making money, and truth be told, their financials are all over the place. To me, it'd be really uncomfortable for me to have my financials plastered all over the state. Man, Big Q make $3 million a year. I mean, that's absolutely insane. I'm just saying for them to, what they're making, it's got to be kind of weird to know, because we're private people and we're saying, man, this guy makes such and such. It's just kind of uncomfortable knowing that, but that's how it is in the game. Jason says Kamara's not an every down back. I don't know. He's an every down back. He's a guy that you put in offense. He don't really have to ever leave the field. He could play any offensive set you want. I usually will not use him as a right guard or position to that degree. I wouldn't really care about doing that. I wouldn't do that. But he don't have to ever leave the field, even if he's running back, or you can slot him in a slot to play some wide receiver. He is very versatile, and it'll be difficult for you at any level to be able to do anything with Alvin Kamara. I'm just going to keep it real with you. So in my opinion, I think he is an every down back. If Alvin Kamara isn't an every down back, who the hell is? I mean, seriously. I mean, he can run the ball inside, outside, catch the ball like a wide receiver, kick return, punt return. He never has to leave the field. So I have to probably disagree with you on that one, family. I think he can and is and have shown and proven to people he can be an every down back. It depends on how you choose to use him. Now, he can slide to a slot position and allow a heavier back to come in for short yardage plays. You see what I'm saying? So it is a place where he doesn't have to ever leave the field. If you don't want, it just have to be a running back. It can be a wide receiver, anything. Chris Johnson, who that to you? He says, don't get no clown. He's a clown in the locker room. We need a cornerback. The name is his game. My family like Ty Gurley. The name is his game. Cap Manny says, Derek, that's all about getting production. Annette, what up, Annette? Antoinette, who that to you, Antoinette? Good to see your family. Much love to you. Welcome to the stream, Antoinette. Who that to you, baby? Kelly says, no, he got hurt because the coach misusing him. There you go. Thank you, Kelly, for that. Revolt says, Kamara doesn't have to be an every down back. He's a big play dynamic back, and he's better than 98% of the backs in the league. Great point. I'm saying if you look at the production, what's an every down back? Who's in there? Put some names in that chat. Tell me, in your opinion, besides Christian McCaffrey, who's an every down back? And Christian McCaffrey and Kamara are tightly jointed at the hip. They came out at the same time. Their games mirror each other, and people would be no argument that Christian McCaffrey is an every down back. Why not Alvin Kamara? What makes him not? We would not be truthful with yourself. All people who thinking he's not at every down back, be truthful for yourself. If this year never happened and you would a year and we went back into the future by 1 year, would you be asking that question? You would not be asking that question. He was tearing it up the first year and the second year, running and catching. That is, he don't ever have to leave the field. I will consider him a every down back in my predict. Zeke is an every down back, and really Kamara, Zeke, Barkley from the Giants, these guys every down back, but Kamara's not. I just don't. I don't. I hear what you're saying. I just don't agree with it, and that's fine. Daniel Smith says Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram's an every down back. Okay, see, we got a lot of them. Antoinette says, hi, Q, how you doing? Who that to you, Antoinette? Thank you for joining the live stream, baby. Big ups to you. Who that? And welcome to the Great Saints Think Tank family. Thank you. But a lot of family, throw some names in that chat. Who that to you, DJ? I see you. So Big Q, the 24 pick actually makes sense now. No, it always makes sense. Remember when we covered the draft and we did a 3 or 4 hour show on that Thursday. Remember what I was saying? A lot of people was like, we got a center. I don't know, caution, who that to you? And I said, hold on now here. That makes that, I know people don't think that the center position was a position that or thing that you needed to tamper with. I understand that. But if you look at a lot of the footage from the Minnesota Viking games and toward the tail end of the season, you can see the reason why they made the move. It was a curious move to make at that time. But if they seen somebody in a draft they really liked, it could actually work for them. And I was like, okay, the center position, what's the play here? But Ruiz, I was aware of who Ruiz was, and I knew he was a hell of a guy. When they drafted him, I didn't anticipate center. I anticipated him playing guard. But that's the thing. But later on, it was revealed that no, we want to keep him at center. It leaked that he was going to play center, and McCoy would shift to guard. So even if that's not even official, you will hear that leak out in different media channels and outlets. But I never was against the move, because how can I be against a move that improves your line? The Saints' first move in free agency was to lock up David Onyemata. I mean, to lock him up on, that was the first thing they did when everything started. They knew the importance of fortifying both lines. They fortified the defensive line, and my issue with the defensive line, we need edge rushers. I ain't gonna get to my edge rusher spill. Then you look at the offensive line. The Saints felt like they needed to make a move and improve the offensive line. Now, this would all this stuff about the center would have disappeared if Sean Payton would have just said, listen, we want to protect Drew Brees, which he said, but also he should have said we want to run the ball. When you would have said we want to run the ball up the center of the line, then all this people wouldn't have not come out with all this in here stuff talking about why we need a center. If we gonna run the ball, oh yeah, man, that's because everybody want to hear that. But the reality is you have to run the ball. And it has been difficult at spots to run it up this guy helps out. Ruiz does help out at the interior line. Moving McCoy to right guard, he will improve. If Andrews Peak can play tackle all over the place and play both guard spots, settle in that left guard, become a Pro Bowler there, I wouldn't think McCoy has the propensity or the ability to do it, knowing how I've been watching McCoy since he was at Texas A&M, no doubt about it in my mind. Less responsibilities at the guard position means that he can really sink in and make things happen. So I never was against that, the offensive center, the center position, because I understood the idea of improving the interior of the offensive line. I mean, keeping it real. The bottom line, you want to get better in the line, because remember in the Minnesota Vikings game, a lot of the pressure that got to Drew came up the center of the line, and that's something that's still stuck in their heads, obviously. So, and of course, that was a part of it, and then the money aspect, freeing up $7 to $8 million worth of money at this juncture of time, that's big. That is big. That is a big deal. Please hit the like button, family. Welcome all to the live stream as well. Die hard Saints fan, who that T say, sup Big Q, hope you and your family is safe. Sorry I'm late, it's okay family, same back to you, hope you doing well as well. My family, welcome into the stream. Neville, what up my boy Neville Lewis in the building, big ups to you. Daniel Smith, I see you. Daniel Caution, I see you. Caution, who that to both y'all guys as well. Jeffrey Dyson says, why not Everson Griffin? He's a versatile D lineman. Me and you've cut from the same cloth in that thinking, Jeffrey. And I was in the Great Saints think tank. No, that's what I've been yelling. Everson Griffin, Everson Griffin, Everson Griffin, Everson Griffin. We love the pilfer Minnesota Vikings players. Why not get Everson Griffin? That would be the largest impact player you could bring here from Minnesota that can really get after him. You need another edge rusher. I'm not sold on Davenport because of his injury history. I'm not saying he a bust, but the kid's still very young, still have to learn a lot to learn. But we need another edge rusher on the other side who's been doing it before, who has a reputation, a track record of playing aggressively. A guy just as impactful as Cam Jordan on the other side. Man, you put that on the Saints line, man, I can't say nothing more about it, baby. I can't say nothing more. Sat Scott, who that to you, Sat. Daniel says, run the ball, beef up the O-line to part the seam. Thank you, Daniel. Much love to you on that. Sat Scott, big ups to you. Says Everson Griffin would be a good fit. I know, I love it. Put Everson on the opposite side. Tell him go get the quarterback. Sub-Zero, who that to you, Sub-Zero. Much love to your family as well. Good to see you. Yeah, I know. Sport Talk says 365 said he went Marcus Hunt. Bigger version of Trey Hendrickson. The guy, if you look at him, he looked just like Trey Hendrickson. His play, and that's when I looked at, I was like, man, this guy reminds me of Trey Hendrickson. He's just bigger. He's a bigger version of Trey Hendrickson. You know, and having Trey Hendrickson is not a bad thing. A lot of people don't get the Trey. I'm saying Trey Hendrickson has been ineffective because he's been hurt. He's the situational pass rusher last year, but he could not stay on the field. So you had to go 3 and 4 or 5 guys into your pass rush, and that impacted the Saints when they lost Davenport last year. Cam was hurt, and remember he had that groin injury through the last 4 games of the season, plus he played the playoffs hurt as well. Where was the pass rush coming? There was no pass rush. Kirk Cousins was carving them up like a Christmas turkey. He was cutting them to ribbons, shredding them. Kirk freaking Cousins, Mr. Noel Kenwood, a big game. He won he earned a 2-year contract off that loss that went over the Saints in the game. You got to correct that, man. No doubt about it. Farouk Abassi, big up to you, Farouk. Good to see your family. James Taylor, who that to you as well in the chat as well. Joshua Hoover, what up, Josh? Much love to your family. Good to see you in the chat. Thank you, Donovan. Appreciate you, Donovan, for your donation, family. Donovan says, I want Everson Griffin or Logan Ryan now that Warford is gone. Logan Ryan is out there. And imagine you have a guy like Logan Ryan. I would much prefer to get Logan Ryan than to have Patrick Robinson on his team. Logan Ryan is an upgrade, and maybe if you pay $4 or $5 million for him, he's still better than what you'll get from a Patrick Robinson, in my opinion. I mean, that dude would be perfect for this team. We'll see, because the Saints do have the propensity to bring in guys or veterans before the season started, the active season, the football, actual playing football season, and not just the paperwork contract stuff. Thank you. Appreciate you, Donovan. Much love to your family as well. Slick Rick says Hendrickson straight on the field, though. When he plays, and I agree with you, he can be productive when he plays. The issue is he don't play. That's my thing with Trey Hendrickson. And remember, you can never have too many pass rushers. Never. Josh says, Big Q, the Saints have money to sign someone to help the defensive ends, or even grab another wide receiver or linebacker. Why are they being quiet with this being Bree's last season? I think a lot of that's coming, bro. I think a lot of that's coming down the line. Expect to see some more shocking or cutting of other talent. I'm still not sold on Nick Eason. If you get Larry Warford, get rid of Larry Warford to save $7-8 million, I'm not gonna think you're gonna get rid of Nick Eason to clear up another $5 million. Come on, Larry Warford only did what he was supposed to do over the last 3 years. Or how many years he been down here? Pro Bowls all over the place. They just signed Nick Eason, and Nick Eason $5 million. That is, I'm not supposed to think that if you get rid of Warford for 8, that I'm not going to see you cutting down Eason sooner or later. And you have all these other guys like Cameron Tom and all these undrafted guys, Will Clapp, and those guys sitting there. What's Nick Eason? You can get a cheaper veteran offensive lineman than Eason. So that could be a chop and block player that I would pay attention to as well. Let's see. Kevin Woods, who that to you, Kevin? Good to see. Says, when we drafted Ryan Ramczyk, I thought it was stupid, but it was a great pick and it paid off all the time. That's a great comment, Kevin. That's a great comment. Remember, a lot of people was upset about the Ryan Ramczyk draft. Remember when they took him? Say, man, what we need to know? We just took an offensive lineman last year with Andrews Pete. Remember that? Ramczyk came, and he's the best offensive lineman on your team, not named Teron Armstead. When he's healthy, talking about Teron Armstead. So that was a great point. This could be a scenario. Matter of fact, I said it when they did it. I said, listen, this guy is going to remind those who will go back in your Saints recollections and understand, that's a better word, understand that this guy will be the next LaCharles Bentley. And if anybody remember how really solid and excellent LaCharles Bentley is, one of the best centers the Saints ever had. This guy will be that type of player. Mean, nasty guy that knows he'll make it happen. He'll make it happen. You got to have a gritty, nasty mentality guy like that in the center of your line, dictating the mentality of your line. And he's a serious run blocking guard, a center as well, player. Look at his statistics. He mauls guys. He puts his hands on you, and it look like them big suckers he playing against have skates on. He pushing them like they're big old vent machines all around the place. He just pushing them, moving them. So that's good. I like that, Kevin. That's a really good comment to kind of compare with a guy like Ruiz. I'm telling you, the Saints are doing some good stuff on this offensive line. I really like that move. And I told y'all, I like that the moves that they made in the draft. The last one with the quarterback, the Taysom Hill clone thing, that's a 7th-round pick. I'm not shoeing it, whatever on that. But the undrafted aspect connected to the draft, man, it was really nice pickings. Oh, who that to the rest of the fam? Daniel says, Think Tank is the hottest first take. Thank you, family. Ramsey, who that? Ramsey. Trey Joseph, what up, fam? He says, P-Rob next or Will Clapp. Maybe Nick Eason. Why get that Clapp? Clapp don't make nothing already. They probably paying him with canned goods and food stamps. I mean, he don't make a lot of money, but Nick Eason does. And remember when you picked up Nick Eason, when Unger retired, you needed somebody to fill in for him. Remember that? But they was like, then when they got him, it was like, okay, it's going to be a battle. It's Nick Eason's position. Then when the draft came along, they took McCoy. And I said, nope, McCoy's going to start. He started from day one, never relinquished the position. Nick Eason then was delegated to a backup center/guard prospect who felt in okay when injuries occurred, but cannot stand out there for long stretches of periods of time. We know that. Making $5 million a year. Yeah, Warford was winning, who was busting ass, getting Pro Bowls. This other guy who just came on the scene last year making 5, one guy making 8, and you get rid of the guy making 7, 8, and I don't think you're going to get rid of the guy making 5. It's coming down the pipe. I would not be surprised. Timothy Dillon, who that to you as well. Good to see you. He says, we're going to cut East, and I agree with you. Timothy says, Fournette, Kamara going to go Fournette. I don't know about Leonard Fournette, man. Boy, would it be special to have him down here, man. To have Fournette and Kamara. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You thinking like a Mark Ingram Kamara type deal. If you have... If you can some kind of way finesse that when you have a Fournette, so I'm not going to even get into it because that'll be just so brutal to have something like that going on. But, you know, it's good to kind of imagine, I guess. Joshua Hoover says Cruz will be center. McCall will slide to guard. Pete better step his game up to accommodate the rest of the line. I think he will. You know what I'm saying, fam? I think he will. I think he will step. And I'm speaking of Andrews Pete. He got the big dough, and he has to step up, and I think he will. I'm just going to keep it real with you. I think he will step up and knock out the first couple of years. We had all those stupid flubs and all that. I don't anticipate that. I think Andrews Pete, the businessman, will arise, and I think he will take care of business. I just think so. I think Andrews is a really good player and tough stretches and like the development. And reason why I got so much respect for Andrews Pete, his plan and his mindset, is because of what happened during his career here. People often forget that he was just thrown all the way around and done some of the most ridiculous things a coach can ask from a player who never played these positions before. This man came out as a tackle, a blindside tackle, who was one of the best in the draft that year out of Stanford. He came in, the Saints selected him. They already had a guy there. They played him on the right side. Then they said, nope, we're going to do this and move you here. So he started, played on the right, or the right tackle to right guard, right tackle, left tackle, wherever they need him, right guard. Then they put him on left guard, move him back around, all around. And what he did, set in and then dominated and became an alternate Pro Bowler twice at the left guard position. Now that says a lot for a guy that was going through that kind of flux by the coach with all these demands. And remember, he was in Sean Payton's doghouse at first when he first arrived too, because he came in overweight. Because of the rules dealing with college coming into the pros, he came in overweight, and Sean Payton was pissed off at him, and he went back and forth. He was in that flux, but what did he do? He prospered. He was able to rise above it, and that gains a lot of respect in my book. That is big in my book, when you can come through adversity like that and not just play well, but play to the position where you earn Pro Bowls. That's big in my book. Many people don't see that, and that's fine. You know, that's okay. Sub-Zero said, I love his awareness, but we better keep him in the box, not have too much man-to-man coverage. Let's see. Josh says, give the Jags third for that. Soldier for God, who that to you? Kelly says, I'm with you with McCoy. Will stay at center. Irvin Alexander, who that to you? Good to see you, Irvin. Soldier for God, much love to your family. Good to see you in the chat as well. Let's see. Joshua says the Saints have to commit to running this year. The less wear and tear on Breeze, he may come back next year too. I'm putting my money that he'll come back next year. As long as Tom Brady is able to play in the NFC South, Drew Brees will play. No doubt about it in my mind. Because because Drew is running away from him catching his records. Drew's putting these records up for a reason. You know, you don't pay 20 years and hang records and say, well, I'm good right now. And you got this dude a season away from catching some of your records. Oh, no. You're going to play as long as he play. And then he made it personal when he moved his ass into the NFC, more personal into the NFC South, to challenge you twice a year and tell you we bring in Gronk and the rest of these guys and we coming for Super Bowls. We playing for Super Bowls. Well, in order to get to Super Bowl, you got to go through the Saints. They're the division champions. So what is that telling you? We in turn to knock you off. That's very personal. That is, and both those guys are super competitive. Tom Brady, we already know him, and we know how Drew Brees could be. Drew Brees has a Boy Scout mentality, but that Boy Scout mentality didn't show up when his ass was on sideline that time when Teddy Bridgewater playing. He was on there chewing that gum hard as hell, eating them sunflower seeds hard as hell, and they ain't have 5 or 6 people. They ain't have people around him for 5 or 10 feet. He was practicing social distances before it was even a real thing. But it's just what it is, man. He's super competitive, and that's what it comes down to. is that I don't think he goes nowhere. Let's see. Irvin says, what up, Zach? Who that? What up, Zach? Good to see you. He said, did we make a move after booting Warford? Could have easily traded him. O-line has high market value. I mean, he could have traded them to the Texans. He could have traded. I mean, but the Saints, I'm thinking they probably did try to move him. But people know you ain't going to get much value for Larry Warford if they already know, man, we just hold on. They're going to just cut the guy. We know they're not going to go into the season. If you couldn't trade him before the draft or during the draft for a fourth or fifth or whatever, I mean, and you're not gonna just release them off top. If you can trade them and get rid of them, you get something back just besides the money would be a bonus. But I guess nobody wanted them. It would say, man, well, I'll just wait for you to cut them and then I'll make a deal with them. I don't need to give you anything. And when people know you're going to do that, ain't no leverage in the situation. Thank you, Dad. Appreciate you. You say, I'm so tired of Bucs fans running their mouth. It's okay. Let them run. Remember, Atlanta did the same thing. You just got to punch them in it and shut them down. Let's see. Joshua said Brady only got to multiple Super Bowls because AFC never has competition. NFC does. I agree. This is not going to be the AFC East. This will be a lot more competitive, and that's why we got to bring that rushing attack. And we cannot have these mistakes that we make and do some stuff. So no doubt about it, Tracy. I'm cool with Clapp. He's good to lineman. Just trying to find the odd man out. P-Rob is probably the hit. Could be. You have a lot of guys better than P-Rob out there that you probably can get. Well, he's making what, $2 or $3 million now, so he ain't making quite as much money. We'll just have to see. Let's see. Zach says even a fifth rounder would have been fine. I know it's just weird how they weren't able to get anything for him, but they got the money. I guess that's the biggest thing. Ramsey says, "What up, Q? Told you that when the schedule came out, they would have us playing Tampa Bay first game. All about the money. Yeah, the schedule makers lined it up. Phil Brown, who that to you, says potential comp pick even if we couldn't trade him. That's right. Thank you, Phil. Much love to you. Thank you for that one. Who that to you? Kevin Woodward said his contract is the issue that kept him from trading him. He is good but not worth what he was getting paid. Thank you. Appreciate that, Kevin. Word Kevin Woodward. Who that to you? Both you and Phil Brown. Who that to you? And welcome to the Great Saints Think Tank family. Appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, family, now we're going to get into some of these stories we talked about, and we're going to start it off with the first story. Let me see if I can get to it here. All right, here we go. All right, thank you, Dominic, for becoming a Pro Star family. Thank you, appreciate you. Dominique Evans, who that to your family, and appreciate you. Okay, Pro Bowl. Saints released Pro Bowl Larry Warford after three Pro Bowl seasons, to be quite honest with you. This guy really turned it on for him. And the Saints released Pro Bowl right guard Larry Warford on Friday, saving the team more than $7 million in cap space. Money, and paving the way for the first round draft pick Cesar Ruiz to earn a starting job. Now, Warford, who turns 29 next month, made the Pro Bowl in each of his 3 seasons with the Saints after they signed him away from the Lions with that 4-year, $34 million contract back in 2017. Now, it became evident that the Saints was considering a change after they re-signed left guard Pete to a lucrative extension in free agency and selected Ruiz with the 24th pick in this year's draft. The Saints said either Ruiz or McCoy will make the switch. Ruiz will play center, or McCoy will be guard. I think from what I'm hearing, that Ruiz will occupy the guard position. McCoy will move to the center position, and McCoy will move to guard. Even confusing to me. But Larry Warford did tweet out a quote saying, "For the last 3 years with the Saints have been nothing but a blessing. The team, the city, and the fans have given me an experience I won't forget. New Orleans is something different. Thank you for everything." Larry Warford's sentiment out to the Great Saint Think Tank and the rest of the black and gold world, thanking us for the last 3 Pro Bowl seasons that he's had. And just for recollection, he wasn't a Pro Bowl before the Pro Bowl until he got here. So if you can take Larry Warford, who's a solid offensive lineman in the NFL, and turn him into a perennial Pro Bowl 3 years running for the team, imagine what you can do with a guy like McCoy and Cesar Ruiz, these young guys. You already have Streif as one of the best unknown offensive linemen in the NFL. So, I mean, we're looking at a really good situation for the Saints offensive line, youth-wise, moving into the future. Of course, Ryan Ramczyk will get his big money. Saints created much-needed cap room after that move. With less than $4 million under the cap, they will need $2 million of space to account for their draft class. They also need to prepare for possible long-term extensions. People like Kamara, Ramczyk, Lattimore, and Demario Davis. Warford was due a base of $7.65 in the final year of his contract. He already received $750,000 roster bonus this offseason, which was due at $100,000 workout bonus. Warford's contract will count as $5.125 million in dead money against the cap. Now, he began his career as a third-round pick with the Lions out of Kentucky in 2013, became an immediate starter. He has started 101 regular season games, including 44 over the past 3 years. In New Orleans, he also started 5 playoff games with the New Orleans Saints. So much love to Larry Warford. Much success to you, Larry. Thank you for 3 Pro Bowl years. And sometimes it's like this. We move on and move forward. And there are several really interesting teams like the Chiefs, among others, that are interested and getting Larry Warford, so that's big. Going to the next story. Of course, we talk about the New Orleans Saints schedule 2020. This is the schedule the Saints have. Of course, you could take a look at it and see that in week 1, the Saints line up September the 13th against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Dome. That is going to be an evening game, 3:25. They'll take on the Bucs on Fox. Really interesting. Then, of course, week 2, they travel to Las Vegas to open up the brand new stadium there. A Monday night game against the Las Vegas Raiders. We're going to whoop their butts in that and give them their first loss of the year in a new building. Let that hang on your head, Las Vegas. Sunday, and then, of course, week 3, Sunday, September the 27th, we come back home. So we home, then we go on the road, then we come back. And then we play Green Bay in the Dome. It's a night game, Sunday, September the 27th, 7:20 at night against Aaron Rodgers in the Green Bay Packers as they come here to New Orleans. Then looking at week 4, October the 4th, opening up that October schedule. We're then on the road again, going to Detroit to take on Ralph Cramden, who's the coach of the Detroit Lions, and his Detroit Lions, Matt Stafford with his bad back, and several other interesting prospects on that Detroit team. We'll go up there and take them on, and I expect the Saints to definitely come up with a win over them guys. So, I mean, no disrespect to the Lions, but good grief. Week 5, Monday Night Football, October the 12th. Come back home to the Superdome against the Los Angeles Chargers, baby. It's a Monday night game, and that's gonna be a really fantastic game. Tyrod Taylor, if he's still starting, might have Herbert there, who they drafted to guide the team. But they have a lot of offensive weapons, big wide receivers, very fast defense, pass rushers, all kind of stuff. It'll be a really good game, high flying game. It'll be awesome to see the Saints take a win against the Chargers Monday night. Week 6 is a bye week. Early bye week, family. A lot of bye week. Who that to you, Demi? Good to see you in the chat as well. Shannon, Roy, who that to you? Shannon, much love to you. Good to see you in the building, family. Now, bye week is a little early for my taste, but it is what it is. In week 6, come back. The Saints are back-to-back road games. They stay home for that within that bye week. In the middle of those home games, they take on Teddy Bridgewater and the Carolina Panthers Sunday, October the 25th at 12 o'clock. A little revenge here. Teddy Bridgewater will bring McCaffrey and the rest of those guys in here for a battle with the Saints. I just anticipate the Saints going to kick that butt. And then, of course, the Saints go on 2 road games. We open up the November schedule, traveling the first 2 weeks. As November the 1st, we travel to Chi-Town. It is a Sunday evening game. We take on the Bears. And then, of course, week 9, we travel to Tampa to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on November the 8th. It's a night game there as we take on Tom Brady again, this time in Tampa. Then the Tampa Bay situation is out the room, and we don't worry about Tampa. And then the next game, after taking on Tom Brady and the Bucs, we then come home for 2 back-to-back on November the 15th, Sunday against San Francisco. It's an evening game on Fox. Will be a knockdown, drag-out battle as we try to get revenge on the San Francisco 49ers for what they did last year. Boy, it's going to be an exciting game. Then Sunday, the 22nd, the Saints at home again will take on the Atlanta Falcons for the first time this season. And, of course, Matt Ryan and the rest of those it's going to be a Sunday after a noon game, and the Saints should be able to take care of business. And then we have 3 games, count them 3, 1, 2, 3, that the Saints travel on the road to face Denver on November the 29th. That'll be a afternoon game. They travel up to Mile High to deal with that altitude. and the Denver Broncos, who have a very young and interesting team. Then after that, Sunday, December the 5th, they open up the December schedule, December the 6th, against the Atlanta Falcons. So we play the Falcons twice in 3 weeks. We'll play them Sunday, November the 22nd in the Dome, and then we go to their building a couple of weeks later on December to the 6th to take on them at 12 o'clock. Then the next game in December, we are then we go from Denver to Atlanta, then to Philly. December the 13th, we go to Philadelphia, 3 road games in a row. Wow. And we go up to Philly to take on Carson Wentz and the rest of them teams. 3:25 kickoff time on Sunday, December the 13th. Then, of course, the two really interesting games to me, besides the 49ers and the Tampa Bay games, of course, the Saints come home December the 20th to take on the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl Chiefs, on CBS. That's an afternoon game. That will be a shootout. We'll love to see that one as well. And then Friday the 25th, 5 days later, that's right, 5 days later on the Friday, the Saints have a short week as they prepare for the Minnesota Vikings on Christmas afternoon, 3:30. The Saints will have to give the Vikings a present of an ass whooping on December the 25th. And then the final game is Sunday, January the 3rd, as they close against Carolina. Seems to be the traditional thing we've been doing, is that last year we had Tennessee. Carolina, we closing the season with them and Teddy Bridgewater, McCaffrey, and the rest of those guys on January 3rd at Carolina at noon on Fox. So that is the schedule. A lot of good games in that schedule. Of course, people looking at the Tampa Bay matchups, then it's interesting the Green Bay matchup. I still say this Saints could beat the Raiders, the Packers, and the Lions. The Chargers will be a challenge, but we still should be able to beat them. So you should at least be 5-0 or at least 4-1 by the bye. Coming off the bye, you got Carolina, you have Chicago, and then Tampa. Again, Carolina is going to be stiff. I'm not anticipating them to be world beaters right away. They'll still be an interesting team. I just don't think a playoff team. Chicago, like I said, no quarterback, no goal, and we should have no problems beating those teams. Tampa Bay, we'll see about it. I say we should sweep their ass. I just said take it to them. And of course, the interesting games on the schedule to me is the San Francisco 49er game, getting revenge on them. And of course, not falling asleep playing the Falcons in 3 weeks. You can't fall asleep. You beat them, and then you play Denver. Then you come back. You can't fall asleep in a trap game with Atlanta after the 49ers game. And then, of course, you're looking out for Philadelphia. In Philly could be dangerous, and I anticipate the Saints should be able to handle that. But the Kansas City game is interesting. And, of course, the revenge game against San Fran and Minnesota, in my book, is just what it's supposed to be. A lot of people, Mike Triplett from ESPN picked 12-4. I say 13-3 again, and at worst 12-4. Ain't no reason why the Saints should not be able to win 12 games off of this schedule. No doubt about it. I say 13-3 again, and at worst 12-4. That's what I'm talking about now. It has to be terrible. It has to go terribly wrong for anything else to happen. Here, that's the bottom line. That's my taking on it. All right, let's keep it going, family. And I know the family man was chiming in the stream. I want y'all to put in what the hell y'all think. Y'all tell me, hey, Big Q, man, I agree with you. They 13-3. What it look like? I'm going to read y'all predictions in the chat as well. What is the schedule? What it look like, family? Y'all tell me. Y'all looking at the schedule. This is it. The 2020 schedule. What, in your opinion, is the win-loss total for the New Orleans Black and Gold Saints? I said 13-3 again. 13-3 again, at worst 12-4. And I don't have to tell you who they're going to be, but you can look at teams like the Raiders, the Packers, the Lions, and the Chargers will be a fight, but those are games a Super Bowl contender like the Saints should be able to beat. Carolina is going to be an interesting matchup, but there's so many dynamics on why they're not going to be good. I'm not saying that they're going to be terrible, but you should be able to beat Carolina. Chicago, they don't even have a quarterback. I'm not sold on Nick Foles, and they didn't even issue out the extension on the 5th year for Trubisky. And of course, San Francisco, I got my eyes on San Francisco because I think they'll be one of the teams that we'll face when the playoffs come. And of course, what you're gauging Kansas City could be the team that you play in the Super Bowl. So Kansas City could definitely represent the AFC again. They are stacked again this year. That will be and watch when it happens. They're going to say, man, this could be a potential Super Bowl game between the Saints and the Chiefs. And that's exactly what it's going to be. And of course, stumping out the Minnesota Vikings in the regular season and the San Francisco 49ers gives you the leeway to have that home field advantage. So we got some people in the chat that's sending out Zach, who that says easily another 13-3 season. Inevitable expertise, who that to your family, says 12-4. Thank you. Ramsey says 13-3. Lance Kelly, who that Lance, says 11-5. Iceman says, yo, Q, you know that there's always a game that Saints should win, but they don't win. You know, I say 11-5. That's why I made recommendation about the Atlanta Falcons, because it got trap written all over it. You playing them twice in 3 weeks. You see what I'm saying? And then if you look at it, you're coming off a tough game against the 49ers. First of all, November the 15th, you play the 49ers. That's going to be a rock'em sock'em game. Then the next week, you have the Falcons in the Dome. You see? That's a potential trap game. And then you go and you whoop on Denver, and then you come back against them. So I'm looking at Atlanta like they were last year. They'll slip in there and try to, throw something at you. I'm just keeping it real. But you're right. There are always a few of those games that the Saints beat themselves in. And that's why I said 13-3 at worst, 12-4. But Atlanta could sneak in there and get one if we fall asleep. No doubt about it. I agree with you on that. Thank you, Iceman. Let's see who else. 13-3 says Kelly Bell with 5 division wins. Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate it. Dada says 11-5. Thank you, Dada. Zach says, I think we're winning against the 49ers this year because their defense lost key pieces. We did nothing, and we did nothing but gain. Also, it's hard to win 2 games in a row against great teams. Thank you for that, Zach. Appreciate that. Kevin Woodward says 12-4 will be great against their schedule. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it. Scoop says if Ruiz makes seamless transition, 13-3. Thank you, Scoop. Gundam says if we get another solid edge rusher, we definitely 13-3. Thank you, Gundam. Neville says, I agree with you, Big Q. Thank you, Neville. 13-3 says Neville. Derek says, simple. Yep. Thank you, Derek. Inevitable says, that's what's up. Zach says, I think we certainly lose a division game, another unsuspected loss, and maybe we lose to one of the big teams on the schedule. 13-3 seems good. We're going to have a flub or two. That's just what it is. We're going to have a flood or two. Joshua Hoover says 15-1. The only game we lose is in Carolina week 17 because we bench everybody. Oh, well, that's fine, man. I'm not mad if we 15-1. Absolutely, man. So a lot of family members picking the Saints to get up there and go deep. Uncle Paulie not in the live stream. I wonder what Uncle Paulie would say. Y'all know he'll bring some drama to the stream. Eddie Evans, who that to you? He said, I feel like we'll be 13-3. The Who Dat Nation is all good. Thank you, family. Donovan says 12-4 is my prediction. Thank you, Donovan. Inevitable XT says, I think the trap games are the Raiders and Denver. Okay, all right. Okay, the Raiders. Early on. All right. Appreciate you that inevitable expertise. Denver is interesting. A lot of people not anticipating much on them because they're a young team. Drew Lock is a good quarterback. You got Sutton at wide receiver. They added, I want to say Jerry Jeudy is in Denver now. They have some really, and Noah Fant, the tight end, they have some excellent pieces offensively. If they can put it all together, we'll see. But the defense can still get after you. Von Miller is there among other. So it'll be interesting to see how it happens. So we'll see. Zach, this will be the year. Thank you. Cedric says 19-0. There you go, Cedric. Who that to you? Zach says, yeah, Denver might be a sneaky loss. And Inevitable XT says it's going to be very hard to win the first game in Las Vegas. That place is going to be fired up. That's true, but we have a lot of black and gold family members that live in Las Vegas and don't expect it to be so black and silver as it could be a black and gold. I mean, there's a lot of Saints fans that live in Las Vegas. We'll see that too. All right, thank y'all for that. Now let's move on to the next. Y'all keep putting the predictions in the chat and I will read them. And this goes out to all the great Saints Think Tank, the entire Sports Coma World Nation. Y'all put your predictions in the chat and I shall shout them out to the rest of the people. Dr. Key says 11-5 is the floor, 13-3 is the ceiling. That is a pretty good house there, Dr. Key. Appreciate it. Cap Manny 2020 says at best 15-1. Thank you, family. Demi says the schedule is tougher than last. I hope we add another big vet player to our pass rush position. We still need help if we're serious about Super Bowls. Demi is very intelligent and wise and bringing it. I agree with Demi. That would put the Saints over the top if you could secure a talent like Everson Griffin. It's the only thing we missing. If the Saints really wanted that pass rush, because you're going to need that pass rush. You're going to need that pass rush against some of these teams. I'm just going to keep it real with you. You're going to need that pass rush against Minnesota. You're going to need that pass rush against San Francisco. You're going to need that pass rush against Philadelphia. You're going to need that pass rush against Kansas City. You're going to need that pass rush against Green Bay. You're going to need that pass rush at Tampa, at Carolina. You're going to need that pass rush to get after these quarterbacks and put them on the ground. Bottom line. That's what it comes to. So we got to decide on how we're going to handle this thing. Kevin Woodward said they may be fired up in Las Vegas, but too bad for them that their team is the Raiders. Antoinette says, I think we win it all. Q, all right. Appreciate you, Antoinette. Who that to you, baby? And Neville Back Expertise says Everson Griffin will do it. I know, fam. I've been yelling it, and they don't seem to be listening. But that's the reality that we're facing, man. If we want to pilfer guys from the Minnesota Vikings, we need to also pilfer a guy like Everson Griffin who can bring a pass rush opposite of Cam Jordan, because Davenport's injury situation is profound, man. It's profound. So we have to look at that. Glenn Witt says 12-4. We need one more DB. Zo My Goodness says, that's right, Q. I'm prepping in Vegas right now. They don't understand the Saints. We bringing it, man. We bringing it. Jason says, Everson Griffin, I can't scream it loud enough. Thank you. I'm with you, family. I'm with you on it. Iceman says, hey, Q, do you think Drew's legacy suffers because of Sean Payton? No, I absolutely don't. I think Drew Brees will still get the Hall of Fame credit and statistics that he deserves. I don't think it suffer. Now, in terms of Sean Payton not addressing the defense sooner when Drew was a lot younger, that could impact the Super Bowls of it. But Drew's did everything you could ask a quarterback to do for his team. The only thing he didn't do is to go and say and bring guys in here and say, you know what? I like this defensive guy. I want him to be on the team. That's the one thing he didn't do. Like, oh, look, go to Sean Payton and say, Sean, could we go get Everson Griffin and bring him on the team? If Drew Brees did that and asked Sean Payton would say, you know what? You think he'll work? Listen, Everson Griffin's my friend. I think he'll do a fantastic job here. That's the only thing Drew Brees didn't do. He didn't go and tell them, I want you to go and get this guy. I want him. I need him on the team. Now, early on, he did say that about Darren Sproles, come to think about it. And that's how Sproles became a member of the team. And look how impactful that was. So we'll see, but not in the measure of the dominance that I would expect the all-star Hall of Fame talent like Drew to do. But no, I don't think it suffers his legacy. I think his legacy is sealed as one of the greatest in the history of the game, bottom line. And it just so feels good that he's a Saint, that it'd be calling the greatest of all time. Just like the 49ers was felt when Joe Montana, who was a 49er player, and he had that credit as well. And Neville XC says Tremaine Johnson, Logan Ryan still available. A lot of great DBs on there. I'm thinking that, man. I'm thinking that the Saints will go after some more talent. Let's see, Who That Nation says we'll be 13-3. Travis Jones says 13-3, 12-4. Grab Griffin, a nice cornerback, will get us over the top. Thank you, Travis. Appreciate you, family. Let's see. Scoop says, Iceman, I think we have got another ring if Peyton took it seriously early on. I agree. I said that he should have. If he would have built the defense early on, I think it would have been fantastic. And not just always looking at the back end of the defensive back, but to just get the pass. One of the cheapest, or not cheapest, but the simplest ways to get your defense on point is to get the edge rush situation resolved. You need edge rushers. They are super important as oxygen is to a human being. I mean, just as simple as that. If you can't get to their quarterback, you're going to have problems. Getting to their quarterback causes havoc and messes up everything. Just look what the Minnesota Vikings did to our ass last year when they were able to put pressure on Drew Brees. He looked worse than some backups in the league in that game. He looked like he was a backup quarterback that didn't know a goddamn thing about organized football. He looked terrible. And that's what pressure do to you. And Drew Brees is a freaking Hall of Fame quarterback. Look what the pressure did to him. So that's what I'm saying. It is super imperative that we solve the edge rush position. And I appreciate Zach Bond, don't get me wrong. I do like Trey Hendrickson. He just injured too much. And the rest of these guys are projects at best. But why play around with the unknown? Why not get a guy that did it at a high level? Thank you, Dot. Appreciate your donation, family. Much love to you on that. It says Big Q, chat, do you think Everson Griffin may not want to be here? I don't think so. I don't think he don't want to be here. He got his preferences. I don't think the Saints showed him any consideration. But why would Everson Griffin not want to be in New Orleans playing with Drew Brees and his fantastic team? Why would he not? I don't think it's an issue. Wayne Brady, who that to your family? Thank you. Trey Joseph said Matthews will be a missing piece. He's an edge rusher, but also versatile, which Saints love, and let Brown get his shine on. He can't talking about Clay Matthews. Okay, I got you, fam. I'm not against Clay Matthews either. I think Clay Matthews would fit here as well and would be a really cheap addition. Damone Horton, what up, Damone? Good to see you. Zach says can't get both Ryan and Griffin, but adding one gets us there. We need the ring this year. Breeze can't leave us on anything less. He deserves it, and we deserve it as well. Thank you, Zach. Dallas says I'm late, but who that to you, Dallas? Appreciate your family. Welcome to the live stream. Kevin Wood says 15-1, no doubt. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate your fam. Wayne says Big Q, we go at 17-0. Super Bowl, I got you, Wayne. Thank you, fam. Iceman says, would you trade Sean Payton for Mike Tomlin? No, I would not. I would not trade Sean Payton for Mike Tomlin because Mike Tomlin eyes, if he open them up any bigger, they're going to pop out his goddamn head. But no, seriously, no, I don't want to add, no. I would keep Sean. Both coaches have their little hiccups, but Sean Payton, I love my coach. I give him hell because we supposed to give him hell when he out here talking to people wrong and being big head and big chested. You ain't the president of the goddamn country. You just a football coach. So, get back within yourself. Learn some humility, man. And understand to be when people are giving you constructive criticism, incorporate it into your mindset. I know you're supposed to be running the ball more. If you've run the ball more the last couple of years, you've been sitting on 2 Super Bowls at least. That's all I'm saying, and nobody can disagree with that. Demi says if we don't get a stronger pass rush, help Q will be one and done again. I agree with that. We cannot. There's 2 things that we cannot do in the play. Actually, more than that, but 2 of the top things that we cannot do in the playoffs. That is to beating ourselves with turnovers and miscues and sloppy, undisciplined football. We cannot do that. And the second thing is we cannot not go into these games and put pressure on the quarterbacks and expect to have a successful outcome. No, sir. It won't happen. Thank you for that. Let's keep it going. Slade says Clay could play big boy tight ends that gave us so much trouble. Clay Matthews is intelligent. He's energetic. And he with 8 games last year, he got 12 sacks, or 12 games, he got 8 sacks, something like that. I think I reversed the number by mistake, but he's very productive even this far into his career. Wouldn't be upset about Clay Matthews joining the team. I most certainly wouldn't be opposed to it. And you'll get him for next to nothing, to be honest with you. Let's see. Inevitable says, Iceman, I trade Dennis Allen for Tomlin. Kevin says, since we're getting rid of waste, buy P-Rob. There you go. Tomlin can't control his locker room and is not a great leader of men. Thank you, Scoop. Appreciate that. Zach Hudat says, our D-line is deep, but we need another stud DE like Jordan on the line. I agree with you. It all capsulizes it when you can be able to put that pressure. Lance Kelly says, Sean gotta run the ball more. No doubt about it. We agree with that. Big ups. Now let's move on, family. You can still put y'all stuff in the chat about what you think. If you hadn't chimed in about what you think the Saints are going to be based upon that schedule, I will make sure I read your chat. Now, getting into this is the roster, family. Now, I don't know if anybody has seen this. Is the Saints 90-man unofficial depth chart that I have on the screen right now. Now, what this is simple. As you can see, you look at Drew Brees at the quarterback position, Elvin Kamara, the starting back. Of course, you have Mike Burton and Ricky Ortiz as the fullbacks there. But I'll tell you what, we're going to go through each position. Drew Brees, quarterback. Behind him, Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill, and Tommy Stevens, the 7th-round draft pick. Running back, Elvin Kamara, Latavius Murray, Dwayne Washington, and the 3rd string. And then behind him, you have Tony Jones Jr. from Notre Dame, the undrafted guy, and Taquan Mazzell, the running back speedster, there as well. Be interesting to see what Mazzell is. Seen some footage on him. Has some speed and wiggle as well. Really interesting prospect. Tony Jones to me, man, is I have to keep my eye on him. At the wide receiver position behind Mike Thomas, Deontay Harris, LaJordan Humphrey, Krishan Hogan, Emmanuel Butler, Tommy Lee Lewis. Behind Emmanuel Sanders, Traquan Smith, Austin Carr, Tim White, Juwan Johnson, the big wide receiver from Oregon, and Maurice Harris. Now they forgot to put up the young, exciting wide receiver from Tennessee as well, who should be up there on that list. He's not up there. Left tackle is Taron Armstead, Will Clapp, Darren Paulo, undrafted guy, and left guard is Pete with Derek Kelly II, Adrian McGee, the LSU product. Center is, of course, they got McCoy at center. It could be Reese flip-flopping with McCoy there at center with Easton behind them and Kelvin Throckmorton. At the right guard position, McCoy, Cameron Tom, and behind him, Ryan Ramczyk at the tackle position, Ethan Greenwich, who was on the Saints team the entire summation of last year, and nobody really talked about him. And then Jordan Steckler, the undrafted guy behind them. That is our entire offensive set. Defensive-wise, Cam Jordan, Carl Granderson, Mitchell Lowen, and Gus Cumberlander. In the interior defensive line, Sheldon Rankins, Malcolm Brown, who I think Brown starts over Rankins, Mario Edwards Jr., and Jalen Dalton. Nose tackle, Onyemata, they got Marcus Hunt and interior lineman. I don't think so. But Shy Tuttle, Taylor Stallworth, and Big Malcolm Roach. Then at the other position behind Marcus Davenport, Trey Hendrickson, Noah Spence is there as well. So that's the defensive lineman. The linebackers up next, Alex Anzalone. Behind him is Chase Hansen and Andre Dowell. They have middle linebacker prospect Kiko Alonso there, who we know will be rehabbing, Craig Robinson, and Joe Pesci, who I'm really interested to see. This kid should make the team. He's a poor man's version of Luke Kuechly, in my opinion. Demario Davis is there with Zach Bowen, the third rounder, and Caden Ellis. So I'm very excited about Bowen. I'm very excited about Caden Ellis and some of these other guys. Alex Anzalone is reportedly healthy. We'll love to see him finally beat the injury bug and stay healthy and contribute. Looking at the DBs now, behind LaMarcus Lattimore, Patrick Robinson, Justin Hardy, Geoff Johnson, Batamosi, Keith Washington Jr., who is the defensive back from, I want to say he's from Maryland. That's the guy from Maryland. And then, of course, you look at Janoris Jenkins on the other side with P.J. Williams. They say at corner, hopefully not, that he is not a corner. But Dietrich Nichols, who came over from the XFL, and then Tino Ellis, the other undrafted cornerback the Saints picked up. Then at the safety position, Malcolm Jenkins is there with DJ Swearinger behind him, Saquon Hampton, and Chris Johnson. And then it's Marcus Williams with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson at safety. I think they should flip-flop Johnson and Williams there. Move Johnson to safety behind Marcus Williams, and then JT Gray is there. The special teams-wise is Thomas Morstead, and the Saints did bring in undrafted punter Blake Gillikin. Then the Saints place kicker, of course, is Will Clutch Lutz. Zach Wood, who signed a 4-year deal to be the lone snapper with the team. And then the kick return aspect of the team is Deontay Harris, with Elvin Kamara backing him up on both kick return, punt return, and Taysom Hill backing him up on the kickoff team. So this is the full Saints. They're missing maybe one player there, which is the kid, the wide receiver from the Tennessee Volunteers, who the Saints picked up as an undrafted guy. So that is the formula. Let you guys absorb it, look more at it, and that is the full draft, the roster as it stands, family. That is this is the people. This is who the Saints, for right now, will bring into the season as to make another run. So this is most of it. Now I'm expecting some of this to change. You'll get rid of a undrafted guy or two and bring in some veteran guys. I expect that to happen because the Saints do that every year. But as it stands right now, this gives us an idea about what the team looks like. So that is it right there, family. All right. Now back, Blake, bringing it back to the live stream, family, after going over all those great topics. Wayne says Tino is one from, okay, thank you. Thank you, family. Thank you, Wayne. Tino's the guy from Maryland. Okay, thank you, fam. I got him mixed up. Thank you. Demi says, Q, call Griffin. Better yet, give me. They need somebody. They need another defensive lineman, no doubt about it, that can help put that pressure on them. Travis Jones said we should cut PJ Williams. Jason says, bruh, Tuttle, longest yard. Matt Ryan may hit. Yeah, I know, bro. I know. Shy Tuttle is an absolute wildebeest. And Taylor Stallworth before him. It's like I said, interior. I don't know if I've ever seen the Saints more talented on the defensive line, interiorly speaking. I don't know if I ever seen it. But the edge, if we can get one more good guy, whether it's Clay Matthews, Everson Griffin, my favorite, or even Marcus Golden, I would take him too. He had 10 sacks last year for the Giants. He's out there. And I know a lot of these guys on a premium. So, man, I tell you, and big ups to, like I said, the special. Let me talk about a little bit about the special teams as well, family, because that's a part of it too. Remember when the Saints hired the new special teams coach, he came in and he proceeded to kind of make things happen. And the second year, expect the special teams to get better. In the second year, since this rookie special teams coach came in and implemented his system, and you got to give him credit because under his system, you've seen Deontay Harris become a Pro Bowl kick returner. That's the first time that's happened since the Beer Man did it. You know, that's insane. But I expect more great things because the punter and kicker are solid as it gets in the NFL. We have the best punter and one of the best kickers in the league in our special teams room. Deontay Harris is a Pro Bowler. He's an all-star at the special teams level. And then the rest of it will start to take shape as well. When you look at the fact that the Saints will then make it a lot better to get that ball, to advance that ball a little further. They're going to play a lot tougher on special teams. It's going to get better and better and better. And remember, you need all three phases of the team playing high for the team to get to that Super Bowl. All three phases have to be playing stellar football to get to that next level. So that is something I anticipate the team doing and being focused and moving forward. And they're actually going to do it. Now, as I keep addressing the chat, now I've opened up the live lines. The live lines are open, 504-475-4482. Like I promised, the live lines is open, family. Please hit the like button. We are how many minutes in this sucker? An hour and 18 minutes into this sucker here. So please feel free. We got over 100 people in the chat. Please hit the like button, family. If you hadn't already hit the like button, smash the hell out of it. If you're not a subscriber, I invite you right now to subscribe and join the Great Saints Think Tank. If you're a critical thinking, Saints loving person, you need to join your family members here because we talk about sports in such a passionate way. We absolutely welcome you into the family. Hit the like button and subscribe away, family. But the live lines is open, 504-475-4482. Thank you, school. Appreciate you, family, for posting that. And all my moderators. Anderson said, what up, who that fam? Love you. What I missed? Not too much, Anderson. Good to see you, family. Who that to you as well. Good to see you in the live stream, my brother. Big ups to you. Revolt says all pro kick returner. That's right. Jeff Dyson, a lot of teams going to watch our D-line on cut day. Oh yeah. They're going to be like flies around, you know, that terrible brown smelling stuff. Stunner TBOTB. What up, fam? What up, family? Good to see. He said we need Antonio Brown and Griffin. Oh man. I don't know if Antonio Brown's away. I agree with you on Griffin. I don't know where Antonio Brown will go. I mean, if you say, okay, we take AB was, I guess he would have to battle Emmanuel Sanders for that. But you know what? If you add Antonio Brown, and this is fantasy, by the way, but if you add Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders could play the slot position. And oh my goodness, could you imagine? But that just goes to show you, Sean did kick the tires on him. But he just didn't obey. He told him, don't bring no crews in here, and he brought crews. Maybe if he had listened, it might have been an issue where you could be able to stick around. But most of them coaches, man, when they tell you don't do something, you do it. That's a mess. That's not a good sign. And he brought them down here and filmed it. He just done a bunch of stupid ass stuff. You know, I don't know. He just don't fit what we doing. Big ups to you, 985 Live. Who that to you, 985 Live? I see you, family. Big ups to you. Good to see you in the live stream today. Big ups to you. Derek says only half the family hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Ding that notification share. Thank you, Derek, for sharing that. Venom Rage says Deontay had the biggest play that Minnesota game when he got behind the defense on that deep post. Yes, no doubt about it. Venom Rage, thank you. Ramsey says, will Matt Moscona be on today? No, Ramsey, he's not. We couldn't get him on today. Matt has a very busy schedule, man. So if we do, we will notify you because we are still in contact. It's not just me at the PRO Media Network. There's several other people behind the scenes that don't show their faces, but a lot of people do help out with things. So a lot of people lining it up and trying to make some stuff happen. So we definitely we'll let you know when Matt coming on. We're working on several other reporters coming on the show as well. So a lot of people, it depending on how the schedules are made, we will let you know. But no, not today, family. He couldn't make it for today's show, but we'll let you know. Just stay in tune with us and hit your notifications, and we'll let you know down the line. Thank you, Cool Joe Scott. Appreciate your donation, family. Appreciate you, Cool Joe. Thank you, sir, for that wonderful donation. Thank you. Josh says Big Q should make some calls to needed players and show them some love. Should make some calls to needed players and show them some. Hey, I bet that's a good idea, bro. I'm gonna see if I can reach out to Everson Griffin via his social media and tell him, man, look, the Great Saints think tank and the Saints need you down here, man. Calls Mickey Loomis and Sean Payton and come on down here and win a Super Bowl. That'd be a wonderful thing. And I think I'm gonna do that. Later on today, I'm gonna go ahead on out there and I'm gonna get on there and I'm gonna go find his social media and him and Clay Matthews and send out and Logan Ryan and send out some tweets at him and see how they respond to that. Van Ward, who that to your family? Good to see you. Zach, who that says Deontay Harris in the slot, good night. Only problem is, can we reach him? Could Drew reach him with the ball? You might have to get Taysom to throw it to him. Thank you, Dr. Key. Appreciate it. Says, hey, Q, I know we said Sean fixing the O-line to run. Do you trust Sean to run the ball this year? Also, do you think we're going to play the full season? Very great questions. Thank you, Dr. Key, for your wonderful donation. And I do trust Sean Payton to run the ball, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's not just blind trust or foolish trust. You know, it's trust with proof. And the proof that I want to put before the International Court of the Great Saints think tank is the fact that when you're dealing with such a limited amount of time with Drew Brees playing, whether it's this year and done or next year as well, you have to, as a head coach, say to yourself, this guy is 40 plus years old. I got Elvin Kamara and Latavius Murray that I'm paying good money for, and I have to use my running game. And I think that's a part of it. You've got, and I really do think that 40-something years old, I do anticipate him doing it. You add that with the fact, that realization, plus the fact that he switched up the offensive line. That wasn't just to protect Drew so he could throw it 40 times a game. I really do think, because if you look at the footage on Cesar Ruiz, he's an excellent run offensive lineman against the run. He mauls. He does it both well. He's a balanced center. But when you allow him to run block, oh my goodness. He has quick feet. He gets out fast, and it's hard for blockers. It's hard for people to shed his blocks because he's constantly moving in front of them. And like he's a big stiff guy. So when you have a big nasty defender, a big nasty offensive lineman like that in front of you, I think it helps the Saints if they will go in that direction. Plus McCoy is also really good on the run scenario. So I really do think that the Saints are going to run the ball more than they did last year. And I do think they'll balance it. Might won't be quite the balance that we would anticipate, like a balance is, but it'll be more than what it was last year. I don't think we go into it the same way we did last year. Evident by the offensive line, switching it up. You got to look at running the ball to help the quarterback. No doubt about it. So I appreciate that. And to your second part of the question, do you think we're going to play a full season? Yes, I do think that the Saints will play the full season, barring any other shenanigans. Right now, dealing with all other stuff going on, whatever school of thought most people come from, dealing with a second level of plague or whatever is going on. But to a degree, I do think things will carry on in terms of football, even if they're not playing. Fans can't go to the games. I still think they'll play the games, even if people can't go to the stadiums to watch the games. I still think it goes on barring a catastrophe or a international conflict on the war front with China. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, it's a lot of other stuff going on. But outside of those main things, I do think the season will go as planned. That's why the NFL is just going on ahead. The NBA is running around here doing this, trying to please everybody, and the NFL just went right on to it and just going right on into it. So, like I said, it comes down to, I do believe that the NFL will play the entire season, and it's just my thought process. Thank you, Dr. Key. Appreciate that. Caribbean Cool, what up, fam? San Juan, Puerto Rico. Good to see you, Caribbean Cool. Great Saints Tank. Hit the subscribe button there, Caribbean Cool. Welcome, and who that to your family, all the way from beautiful Puerto Rico. Wow, good to see you. Let's see who had. Demi says outstanding contribute. Thank you, family. All the beautiful black and gold. Thank y'all. Van Ward says, should we sit Breeze for preseason to really see what Hill and Winston have? I do agree with that. And that happened last year. I think Drew had just 2 or 3 series that the Saints let him play in one game during the preseason, and I think probably that'll be the case too. You don't really need to see a lot from Drew Brees, to know that he still has it. But I've often said that it's some kind of way we have to figure out how to be able to not use the first month of the season like preseason, because that's what happened. That's why it was a key, let's just get rid of preseason, because we're having preseason whether we know it or not. If you watch the first 4 weeks of football, you see all kind of ridiculousness going on until the first month is over with, then you really start seeing football in that second month, because most of the people don't play none of their stars during preseason, and they play them during the regular season because they're scared to play them during the preseason to risk injury. If that's the case, just cut half the preseason to 2 games and get rid of it, because I don't want to see all this other stuff. Because like last year, we were into the preseason, and what happened was you had all these guys trying to make names for themselves, Emmanuel Butler and all these other guys, and guess what happened to them? They didn't even make the team. It's like, how did not, you had the guy that left to the Jaguars, the running back there. He got cut. He had 1 fumble. He was tearing it up. How did all those guys? And I'm like, man, what is the purpose of watching preseason football if you release all of the players that were balling in preseason? What sense that makes? But that's just my feel on it. I don't like preseason, and we getting 4 weeks of preseason to start the regular season anyway, until they learn how to play together. Because you can't expect Drew to do what he did last year. This is new teammates. He got to learn the patterns and rhythms. He got to develop a chemistry with that new center, Ruiz. McCoy has to learn to replay. He had to play that guard position and get the nuances down. You got to do all that. So like I said, it's some kind of way, some balance has to be made where you got to be able to get those really important, valuable snaps or repetitions in the preseason before the regular season. And I just see it all the time. Most of them guys come out in the entire regular season. The first 4 games of the regular season, is the preseason. You see all kind of foolishness. So, what's the purpose of preseason? You look at it from a collegiate level, you got all this stuff, and I'm like, man, come on, man. You mean to tell me you can't pick who you gonna have? You had 4 games to pick your wide receivers like Butler and LeJardan Humphrey and all these guys last year, and what happened? You just cut them and said, no, we're gonna practice squad them. And then later on, you bring in Krishawn Hogan off there and put him on the active roster. And I'm like, hold on. How did he make it on the active roster? That guy don't know the playbook like LeJardan Humphrey, like Emmanuel Butler, or any other your wide receivers you got. But he just went right. I'm like, how does that work? No rhyme or reason to it. That's why I said, man, we need to get that up out of here, man. Seriously. Anyway, let the family members know. 504-475-4482 live line is open. Jeff Dyson says, according to NFL Network, the Saints have the 2nd fastest O-line. Isn't that positive? That is very positive. Thanks for that stat there, Jeff. Appreciate you. Josh says, Ruiz and McCoy, the Saints road graders. Love it. I love it. And then Ryan Ramczyk. Remember, from Ruiz to Ramczyk, oh my goodness. I mean, you talking, that is going to be a special side of the line. Of course, people don't respect Andrews Pete, who got his big payday, and this Terran Armstead. They're very solid players, trust me. The Saints got to have, in my opinion, a top 3 or top 5 offensive line in pro football. No doubt about it. And then you just magnified the interior with the Ruiz pick. So, I mean, it's only sky's the limit. Iceman said, I don't trust Sean to run. He said he didn't see any decline in Drew. That's what we call, with the politician Peyton talking, that's political speech. And, you know, that's the PC stuff, the PC crap, not keeping it real. And, you know, people who like to keep it real, we want you to keep it real. Don't tell me no PC crap. I don't want to hear about that. Keep it real with me and tell me the truth. And that's PC crap. You know, you can't tell me that Drew Brees, you can't see that he can't throw the ball as far as he used to. And you watching him in practice every day. You can't see that his hair getting all frail and he getting light up at the top. If you can't see that, you need to go get some thicker glasses, man. Serious, Sean Payton. You take them big thick ass glasses, you be reading that card sheet. Maybe you'll see better if you learn to keep that sheet a little further away. Instead of trying to read that sheet all up close and personal like this, he be all up on the some gun. Be all up on, instead of like that, Sean, just keep it down there, brother. Keep it down there like that. You don't need them Coke. You have to change, get some more Coke bottles there, Coach Payton. Get some more Coke bottles. Let's keep it moving. Travis said, I just hot Griffin on Instagram with a great message from the Who Dat Nation. Oh, okay, good. Thank you, Travis. Appreciate it. See, Travis getting it going. Joshua says, Winston, and let us all do that, family. Not just me, but I'm going to do it. But I want all us to, let's follow Travis's lead on that. Let's follow his lead on that. Let's all, when we get done with the show, let's all find Everson Griffin's Instagram or what have you, and let's all bombard it with Who Dat Love, Who Dat Black and Gold Love, come on to the Saints. You know, let's put it out there in his mind and create this thing. Tell him, call Mickey Loomis, we need you. Come play on the other side of Cam Jordan. You know, and it don't matter who had the thought, because Coach Payton might have not had the thought. But if you got the thought, and that's what I'm saying about ideas and speaking things into existence. If you had that thought and you magnifying it, you don't think they're listening? You don't think they're hearing it? I know the reporters do, and I know the players listen. So you mean to think they're not going to hear what you say? Man, you absolutely bonkers if you think them people not going to hear what you say. It's a small universe insofar as what we talking, family. You know, and this word gets around. Who that to you? Willie Mitchell, good to see you. Willie, much love to your family. Big ups to you. Good to see you in the chat, man. A Zigbo, there you go. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate you. Diviny Zigbo, there you go. That's his name. Thank you. Little Potato, who that to you? Good to see you in the live stream as well. Little Potato. Kevin Woodward says Emmanuel Butler should have made the team last year. Thank you, family. Scoop says a lot of screenplays coming with a fast offensive line. No doubt about it. That's a good comment, Scoop. You definitely could see that. Derek says ready to get the season started. Ram said in the past we had the Beer Man running kickoffs. Now we have the Deer Man running. The Beer Man meets the Deer Man. All right, family, let you know over 100 people in the chat. Hit the like button. We're up to 60 likes. Hit the like button if you haven't already hit it. And feel free, and also to know that the live line is open. 5044754482 live line is open for live lines for you to call in and let the great Saints think tank hear what you have to say. What do you think about the Larry Warford move? What do you think about the schedule? What do you think about the roster? You know, there are a lot of things to think about as far as the black and gold is concerned with it. And don't just think there, sit there and think in the privacy of your home. Call up and think and let the great Saints think tank know what you're thinking. All right, let's see. 985 Live says no all line Drew gonna be on his behind. With no line Drew, that's right. And I don't know if you meant the rhyme, but yeah, that's absolutely true. Kevin says, you right on the old line. We can run on anybody, but will Sean call the play? I say yes. Y'all know, if you know as I am, family, y'all heard enough of these shows for me to know that, you know, that Q keep it real on Sean Payton. I don't kiss nobody tail. I don't believe in kissing nobody tail. Now I keep it real because with respect, I pay respect because respect comes with respect is due. But if you're wrong, you're wrong, man. And I've been calling Sean Payton out when he was wrong, when he was talking to that meat man, that butcher, when he said all that thing. And the only thing that man asked him is why you did that. Why'd you do? You never know, that man might have been up in there. Like, coach, why did you call that play? So you mean to tell me I can question the president and the man in the White House, but I can't question your ass. Who are you? Who are you? And that's what I'm saying and I had to let that be known, because I don't care who you think you are. Your muffins and your bread comes by way of that butcher. And I mean that literally. It's because of us and you, and I understand the power. See, I understand the power dynamic, not in the way they anticipate you do it, but the power dynamic and where it really come from. And this is a small example. You can see the blessings of how powerful people is as a whole. And I mean, look how the economy is grinded to a halt because you're not participating in it. Huh? If it was so important, why don't these celebrities take their money and generate it? They can't, because it's all based upon who you are. But it's taught like you're not supposed to be that guy to tell that guy nothing. You out of your ass. You out of your damn mind. If you're putting the money up, you mean to tell me that you are literally a stockholder for the New Orleans Saints organization. If you bought merchandise, if you went to games, you have season tickets, you are a part owner, not in terms of like actual, but you are in terms of emotional invested and financially speaking, you are there. And you mean to tell me when you're not getting the ROI, you mean to tell me you're not gonna open your mouth and ask why? Man, you gotta be crazy, man. You go somewhere, go over there to Russia or someplace where you can't criticize the man. You can't criticize the person. Listen, if he out there, I'm gonna talk at him, because I've been a Saints man and a Saints fan long before Sean Payton accepted the job as head coach. And I will be here after he is gone. You understand what I'm talking about? That's what I'm talking about. So the team is upmost, but I reserve the right to criticize and talk about any goddamn person I want to talk about. If they doing wrong, like the sex scandal with the Archdiocese, hiding emails, you think I'm gonna sit moot on that point? That's not part of keeping it real. This is a keep it real form, man. This is real talk, and that's the bottom line. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you, family. I'm sorry for you. Let's see. Kevin says, I am with Q. Our overline is going to be great. Thank you. Willie Mitchell, big ups, fam. Kevin says, Kevin Woodward says, Q, what is the injury deal with Davenport? I don't know, bro. They drafted Davenport, and remember, he must have been hurt when they drafted him, because right after they drafted him, he had surgery on his hand. You remember that? So they drafted him hurt. Then he waited for that. He broke through that, and then he had several other injuries over the last 2 years. I just think he's just a little snake bitten. It's just bad luck. But do I anticipate him breaking out and doing some stuff? Yeah, I do. But that's why I'm saying getting an edge rusher to lessen that impact, because that messes with you psychologically. You don't want a young player as talented as Davenport to start getting down in the dumps because he keeps getting injured. And I'm not saying he's weak like that, but I'm saying if you can have another veteran to absorb some of that time and move him back to a situational role, he can learn from a Griffin and a Cam Jordan. And if you do Griffin, and remember Cam's 30 now, he's on this side of 30 here, getting old in the two. If you add Everson Griffin here, that gives Cam the perfect complement mate that he's never had here. There's never been a guy opposite of Cam Jordan that was even remotely as good as what Everson Griffin is. And I'm saying that you put him next to him, that is, you've got to say the Saints are going to be there, because if something happened to Cam, you got Griffin, you can move Davenport around. There's Zach Bond, you have options. But if you keep putting pressure on Davenport to do this and be that, and he fails, he gets injured, that can create something psychologically. Then you're relying on unproven talent to get you a pass rush, which didn't happen last year. Then you have a rookie in Zach Bond who's fantastic, but he's still a rookie. So, I mean, I want somebody, if this is for Super Bowl marbles, this is for all the marbles. Why take any chances? Why not just go for the real thing? This guy, you plug him in here, he's going to get you at least 10 sacks in the season opposite of Cam. His mere presence forces them to not double and sometimes triple Cam Jordan. It opens everything up. And then, of course, feel free, why don't you? Like last year, before the year, I said, you know what? Study tape on how the Texans use J.J. Watt and do that with Cam Jordan. Guess what the Saints did? They start moving around like, how about that? I mean, if it's a copycat league and they taking stuff from you, why not borrow something from them? How about innovate some stuff, why don't you? Especially on defense. Innovate some shit, why don't you? All right, let's keep it going here. Thank you for that question, Kevin Woodwork. 985 says, O-line matters. Drew thrives because of the line. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. That 3-second clock in his head to get rid of the ball is what Drew Brees does. He knows where in 3 seconds he gets rid of the ball. If there's nothing, he throw the ball in the ground. Take incompletion. But Drew Brees is one of the best in the game to go over his progressions, to know where he's going with the ball, gets rid of the ball. And the O-line is good. That's why I say this year, based on the finality of it, that you're not going to have Drew going forward. You have to give him a running game so he can last the summation of the regular season. You can't have your 40-something-year-old quarterback throwing 40-something attempts every game. That's foolish. You got to give him the running game. He'll be wore out by the time they get close to the end of the season. The running game is pivotal. That's why I said that they'll start participating in more of a run-based attack this upcoming year because of those factors indicated. The switching up of the offensive line, Drew Brees' potential final year, and the fact that he's going into his 40-plus-year-old quarterback who can't really wing it downfield anymore. So you're going to have to bring it. We'll see. All right, fam, let's keep it going here. Van Ward said, without schedule, we should go 12-4, 12-4, or 11-5. Thank you for that, Van. Appreciate you. Good to see you in the chat as well. Steve Wynn, who that to you, Steve? I see your family. Big ups to you. Good to see your family. Hope you're doing okay, Steve. Much love to your fam. Travis says, let's sweep the division again because I'm ready. I'm really already tired of Tampa Bay. The Patrioneers already. How about that? The Patrioneers. Travis Jones says, Q, you're correct. Thank you, family. Joey Wiley. Thank you, Joey. What's up, Joe? Who that to you, Joe Wiley? Good to see your family. Hit the like button and the subscribe button. Let's see what else we got. Wayne says, and to be honest, Sean Payton didn't want the job in the beginning. Remember, Q. A lot of people they romanticize it, they romanticize events of the past. And I don't know if that's a psychological thing or what have you. But I don't romanticize the past. It's like right before Katrina came in, Tom Benson was in a lockdown, drag-out fight with the city and the state for a brand new arena and was damn near close to moving that team to San Antonio to play out the Alamo Dome. And they were that close to being the San Antonio Saints. For real. Then Katrina came in and destroyed the dome, and they took all that money and remade it. I didn't romanticize that, Tom Benson wanted to really be down here. He took it. No, I ain't going to, man. I'm going to tell you like it is. I'm going to tell you just how it went because I was watching it go on. And it's the same thing with what you're talking about with Sean Payton. When they were hiring new coaches, it came down to two coaches. And I said this before. It was between Sean and it was between Gary Kubiak. Sean never was a head coach nowhere, neither was Kubiak, and he was an offensive coordinator. An offensive coordinator was damn good at what he did. He had 2 Super Bowls, championships as an OC. And it was between him, and some said he had the edge on Sean Payton. The only reason why he didn't get the job is because Tom Benson, rest in peace, went for the cheapest of the two. And if anybody know anything about how Tom Benson used to be, that is no surprise to you. He went with the cheapest of the two because they wanted Kubiak, but Kubiak says, no, I want this amount of pay. And they said, no, we're going to go with Sean Payton. Go look it up. Kubiak had Sean Payton dead to right. Had him coaching, had him beat dead to right. Now, he was young and up and coming, no doubt about it. But Kubiak was the guy the Saints really wanted. They really wanted Kubiak. But when it came down to the money, they did not want to pay him. Look it up. They don't want to hear it because they want me to romanticize it. Like romanticizing the fact that Drew seen the city underwater. He said, you know what, y'all, we just got to go to New Orleans. And we just got to help people forget about the flood and the hurricane by being the quarterback of the team. That is not what happened. That is totally not what happened. The truth is that Drew Brees was trying to be the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, whose general manager was Nick Saban, who is the coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide right now. He was the general manager and coach of the Dolphins at that time. And he had a choice between 2 people he wanted. One was Drew Brees, the other was Dante Culpepper. And Nick Saban chose Dante Culpepper. And the truth is, if they would have chose Drew, you would end up with Dante Culpepper because you was the second place prize for whoever the Dolphins didn't pick. None of them didn't want to come here initially. And then when Miami chose Culpepper, Drew came to New Orleans. That's how it happened. It wasn't the fact that, oh, Drew, and they try to spin it like, oh, Drew wanted to be here. That's not how, I'm not romanticizing it. I'm going to give it to you how it is. And that's the goddamn truth. Go look it up. Go look it up. If you don't know, now you know. Big and Smalls. I'm telling you what time it is. That's how it went. Good to see you in the building. Trail, what up, Trail? Trail, Sean D, who that to your family? Good to see you in the building. Big ups to the family. Remember, I got the live lines open, family. 504-475-4482. Live line is open. Zach says, Zach, who that's the San Antonio doesn't have the soul that New Orleans has. Could you imagine, man, the San Antonio Saints? It was that close. I'm telling you guys it was, because it was a knockdown, drag out battle. Because you got to look at it. Tom Benson Saints was stinking up the place. The attendance was low because the team was losing badly. It was just a stinking scenario. And Tom Benson wanted the suite revenue because the Dome didn't have enough suites. And that's what they were into at that time, was getting the suite revenue. They wanted the suite revenue, despite the fact that they didn't put any of their own money into the Superdome. You did. How? So no, we want a brand new arena. But at least Tom Benson did say that he would donate a certain amount of money to the process. But they wanted an open air arena and on the West Bank, and then they had another locale. Like, all these people crazy? You gonna put an open air football arena in New Orleans? Man, ain't nobody gonna come out. You crazy? You crazy as hell. At one time you're gonna have severe amounts of rainouts, and another time the heat gonna be so unbearable, you got people gonna be falling out up there. And man, the best thing they ever did was, if you have football, is to put a Superdome up there. Man, that's the best thing you could. Are you crazy? Talk about playing football in New Orleans with open that, man. You got to be out of your goddamn mind. But that's what they wanted. I'm keeping it real. You came this close for being the San Antonio Saints. I'm telling you. And people in the city was frustrated and upset with them. Then toward the back, and a lot of the politicians who were in the pocket started promoting that the city and state come up with the revenues to refurbish the Superdome. I'm telling you. Then Katrina hit, and it all changed because Katrina decimated both the arena and the dome to the point where it tore portions of the roof off. Y'all remember the pictures. Then the money came in and renovated. Even to this day, like old Deontay Wilder said, to this day. If you go and look at the new the clippings of what they're doing, $100+ million process still going on to this day. Because the next thing is they're going to put windows and change out the escalators and sitting areas in the dome with $100+ million of taxpayer revenue. But I'm not supposed to think I'm the you know what and you not the what. That's coming from you. Telling you, man, recognize y'all power, man, and understand that nobody is. It's like it's the game running. I'm gonna get back to football, but you know how I am, man. I got to look at life because it's a part of it. It's too much of an emphasis to make us look like we're here and there. This guy here is the top guy in this, and he knows this, that, and the third. And you look at his background and find out he's responsible for everything going on. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, for those who know, you know what I'm talking about. But it's always the case of people try to post tie up here and try to make look like they know what's best for you. Nobody don't know what's best for you except for you. Come on now. But that's the problem. That's how we have superstars, and we elevate superstars to a position. But I'm telling you, it's all driven by how you feel about stuff. The stock market, everything. Petroleum stocks, I just bought some. They are super low right now on these petroleum companies because nobody's driving. Insurance rates are dropping because nobody's driving. Why? Because you're not participating in the way you usually would. You drive it all. You're the blood of the entire thing. But you got people that's going to stand up there and pretend like they or know what's best, slap the hell out of them and set them down somewhere and don't participate. Don't listen to them because they don't know nothing about you or who you are. They don't know what the power you will. And if they did, they'll spend their time empowering you as opposed to trying to control you. Come on now. Listen to me on this. I'm telling y'all. And it's the same thing in sports when they try to throw this stuff at us about this is your team or that team. This is your team. If it was my team, I can take my ass up there and go pop my feet up there on that bench there and watch them games for free. I can walk in the locker room and go shake hands with the players or at least give them a bump. I might not touch them, but I would give them a bump or a pound, you know? But that's the thing. You can't do none of that, but they can. But that all belong to you, your money. No, this sucker shit. We don't play sucker state. Let's flip this paradigm. They done had it for now. They done did it. They done screwed it all up. And they got too corrupt with it. You got to take it back from them and slam them down. Some of them need to go somewhere where the bars are too. But the reality at the end of the day is that recognize your power, man. And woman. Bottom line. Okay, let's keep it going. Iceman says, damn, all that true about Drew Crew. I'm telling you, I don't romanticize history. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to sit here and kiss nobody's tail because that's not what it's about. You can respect somebody, but at the end of the day, you still reserve the right to be able to keep it real, which is good and bad and indifferent. You got to do that. If they got people out there that's not keeping it real by saying the pluses and minuses as well, because that's plus and minuses to everything that go on. Not everything is all good. It are all bad for that record. It's all about perspective. And for people who sit up there and kiss them people tail like that, they got an agenda. You need to pay close attention to them. We don't do that here. But we invite anybody to come in here and talk. We've had reporters on here. We have opened up the phone lines. Anybody can spit their game and talk. And I don't block nobody from coming in here. If you're respectable, let's have some conversation. You can spit your word and what have you. But any other way, that's what make the Great Saint Think Tank one of the best out here. Much love. All right, let's keep it moving, fam. Dragon Movie Guy says hello from Vegas. What up, Dragon Movie Guy? He says, I'm a Seahawks fan, but the YouTube gods brought me to your live stream. Great show. Thank you. See, we have great. Thank you, Dragon Movie Guy. Much love to you. I know you're a Seattle Seahawks guy, but I'm just going to say who that to you, because that is our way of showing appreciation and respect to those who are not Saints fans. That is our call to our own brethren and sisterin, but it is a show of respect to you when we say who that to you. Thank you, Dragon Movie Guy. Thank you. Appreciate you. See, we got them all. Great people come in, show respect, and that's absolutely awesome. Trell says, how much did McCarthy and Green Bay Packers also playing Sean Payton here with the Saints? Not sure about that. I know with Sean Payton had a few outings that he was interested in. I know he had something. He was tied to the Dallas situation because Jerry Jones wanted him in Dallas, and that's why it's still that tug and that pull from Dallas. Then there was something tied to the Giants because Sean came from up there, and there was several other things that was circulating around that time. But New Orleans was the one that had him at foremost as a runner to be he was really close to becoming a head coach for the first time with New Orleans. And I'm telling you, if you look it up, Kubiak had him beat dead to right. It came down to money, and Tom Benson, rest his soul, did not want to pay Gary Kubiak the price that he wanted to be the head coach of the Saints. So what did happen? Sean Payton was hired by Tom Benson, and Gary Kubiak went out to Houston. He went out to Houston. Let's keep it going here. Joe Wiley says 100% correct on how they played out. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate your family for that. Steve says, remind them about the message on the fridge. Yeah, how about that? Let's see. Van Wars, NFL gave some money to keep them in Louisiana. That's true. After a lot of pressure, because the NFL know that the New Orleans City area, the region, is big. We've hosted more Super Bowls than anybody here, and it's the perfect environment for a big old football party to happen is New Orleans. We've had more. It's like 20 Super Bowls, I want to say, that the city has hosted over time. The NFL loves the city of New Orleans. It's just at that point, Tom Benson wanted more money, and he wasn't in the position morally or winning wise to command it. Like right now, Saints winning, they can get arms and legs right now because they winning. But they were not winning at that time, and he was having a lot of resistance from the fan base and the politicians who were tired about the Saints using that tough wiggle room to get what they want. But after the fact, Katrina, look what happened. Not only did they get the renovations for the Superdome that benefited them exponentially, people don't understand how much money the team really makes off of the building that the people paid for. They put somebody else's name on it. They get the naming rights. All that money goes to them, which that is unfair. You don't own that building. That's like me coming to your house and putting building signs all over your house and getting paid for it. And you're like, man, how did this dude could do this? It's my house. How can you put all these sports coma and great Saint thing signs all over my house and I can't get nothing for this? This is wrong. But I'm just that's an example just to show you what I'm saying. That's the business of it. Are we supposed to be foolish to that or ignorant to that? No. Being a critical thinker makes you a person that makes you fully aware of all of the things that's going on. And you get naming rights money. You also get the parking revenue. We pay $20 to $25 to park in the structure that you paid for with your money. At least you can give them free parking. I mean, at least you pay $20-something per car parking in that building. They collect all of that. The concessions, all the concessions, the foods that are made, all that, most of that stuff is doubled in price. Y'all know and I know. That bill higher than what it's supposed to be. Y'all know and I know. So they get all that, plus the merchandising of the jerseys and everything that they get all that. And then if that don't float your boat, they get numerous tax breaks. And if that don't float your boat, they got an NBA team that play right next door in the arena that was also paid for with taxpayer money. And they got their name on the dome. And they're doing the same thing all over again than what they was doing with the Superdome, but with the NBA team with the arena. Various tax breaks. Plus, was given a skyscraper called the Tom Benson the Benson Tower that sit right between Champion Square and the New Orleans Superdome. It's a Benson Tower. How did you get that tower? That was given to them by the state. The state gave it to them for pennies on a dollar. Then they renovated, and then the state then rented out offices from the Saints who they gave the building to for pennies on the dollars. See what I'm saying? But I'm not supposed to tell you that. But it's all, rally, all about football. No, man. You get the real enjoyment out of it when you know everything. Keeping it real. We're not stupid Saints fans here, family. Kevin says a nation of... Slade said, we're not going to run the ball. We're going to use all 3 QBs and just sling it. Man, you might not be far off the truth, Slade. Jeffrey Dyson says, amen. Paul, what up, Uncle Paulie? Who that to your Uncle Paulie? Good to see you in there. Derek says, the reality breeds Sean Payton, a few other players. We got everyone else rejects and made it work like we always do. We built, then take whatever and make it great. We have that gumbo mentality. Thank you, Derek. Well said. And we made it work. And that's the thing. That speaks to the mindset and of the city. We've always, as a collective, had to always fight everything to break up all the odds. NFL did not want the Saints. And to keep it real with you on how the Saints got, the Saints came out because the Saints, the city of New Orleans, was been trying to get a franchise from the NFL. And the truth be told is that the way you got the Saints is through a scandal. Look that up, why don't you? But the NFL granted the city. No, you got it under a scandal. Isn't history grand? Oh, telling you, man. I'm telling y'all don't know who y'all talking with. All right, let's keep it going here, family. Remember, live lines open. Thank you, Derek, and my dog Scoob for posting number 504-475-4482. Live line is open. Great Saints Think Tank. Live line is open for your calls, family. If you want to chime in, the live line is open as well. So give me just a second here. But yes, indeed. All right, let's keep it going here. Let's see. Demi says, okay, big ups to Paul in the building. Travis says, Mike McCarthy or Sean Payton. Who makes a better play caller, McCarthy or Sean Payton? McCarthy is damn good at it. I have to go with Sean, though. But McCarthy doesn't have some of the issues Sean has in terms of, like, McCarthy will run the ball. Sometimes he will run it to the detriment of the passing game. I've seen that happen with McCarthy. Sean Payton at times will lock in and run it. But then when he get the running Holy Ghost, he'll run it when he's supposed to pass it. And you can see it's like, no, I appreciate what you're doing, Coach Payton, but mix it up a little. I've seen that happen. But I got to go with Sean Payton. Mike McCarthy did a lot of great stuff in Green Bay. You know, he took over the position. He was a fantastic and is still a fantastic offensive coordinator. I expect a lot of big things from Dallas with Mike McCarthy there. He knows football, and he's a guy that people like to play for. You know, everybody got a little ego to it, but let's just, Coach Payton, pull the ego back, man. You know, start running the ball, balance your attack is all we're yelling at the Great Saints Think Tank. Everything else, we love you for it. We love you for it all. Just run the ball a lot more. Not a little bit, but a lot more. Run the ball more, man. That's all we saying here. Everything else we love you for, but run the goddamn ball. We got shirts, matter of fact, at a pro shop that says, hey, coach, run the damn ball. Maybe we need to buy them and start putting them at the game. Steve says, Big Q, why the Saints didn't give Warford a chance to compete? I think, bro, from what I'm learning about it, like they had a couple of articles that really covered it well. The one from NOLA.com said, and I agree with the NOLA.com's post, was the fact that 2 reasons they said why Coach Payton chose to release Warford. One was financial because of the money. They wanted to free up the cap money. And the other one is because of a few things that happened during the season. Now, it's hard to pick and say to myself or say to yourself, we got to get rid of Warford because he's not producing. That's totally not the case. He went to 3 straight Pro Bowls the years that he was here. So it wasn't too much that you could say that he was a disruption. And I just look at the fact that it just came down to getting rid of him for the money. I mean, bottom line, that's what it came down to, just getting rid of him for the money, because you can't say nothing about the man character. The man's a stand-up guy. He's a hard worker, as proven by his 3 straight years of Pro Bowling, when he never had a Pro Bowl prior to that. He wasn't making Pro Bowls in Detroit. He comes down here, steps his game up, goes to 3 straight Pro Bowls in the 3 years that says a lot, and puts him in some pretty interesting company with guys like Willie Rolfe and what was the other guy that the article made mention of? Jari Evans, I believe the other name was. By him being here for this year's duration of time that he played, and to say that he'd been here for 3 years and he got 3 Pro Bowls, that says a lot. So it's not about his character of his work ethic. It's just the fact that they decided to have a change in a lot. They knew they wasn't going to bring Larry Warford back after this season, and they just decided to make the move now as opposed to later. And am I kind of upset about them getting rid of a 3-time Pro Bowler? Yeah, but I understand the capnomics of the situation, and Larry Warford really stepped his game up and elevated it to a higher levels than he ever had in his career before. So much love to Larry Warford, man. Thank you for what you did. And the black and gold, much love to you, bro. Thank you. And I wish you well, man, going ahead, bro. And you're going to land with either Houston or Kansas City or somebody who could use a talented three-time in a row Pro Bowler. But understand that the money situation and the fact that Coach Payton wants to get better interiorly, I can't get mad at that. Anytime you're looking at improving your lines, the interior of your lines, I cannot get mad at you, because we all know that games are won and lost in the trenches. That's when it comes down to. That's why I wasn't really hard on Coach Payton when we was covering the draft. Those live days, those 3 straight days we was covering the draft, I didn't get hard on him like that, because I understood the principles of improving the interior line play, whether it's offensive, defense, and the Saints done that very well this season. I have to give it to them. I have to, because if you think about it, changing the center and quarterback exchange and putting a new quarterback there with Drew Brees, that's a big move to do, because they got to get that chemistry right between Ruiz and Drew. And they seem to have worked it out with McCoy, and now you're putting them have to be able to do it with a new center. That requires some thinking. Because you can fumble the ball and stuff can happen. You can have turnovers there. That has to get together. And I'm saying that was a big move on Coach Payton to do. So, that's my take on it, Steve. Thanks for the question, family. Thank you. And who that to you? Anderson Baker, who that to you, Anderson? Joe says, what is the real purpose of us Saints having 4 QBs? Well, actually, you only have 2 QBs and two what they would call gimmick guys, or I don't like using the gimmick term. I'm gonna just keep it real, family. I'm gonna try my best to stop saying gimmick, and I'm gonna just say utility, because that is a better definition of Taysom Hill. He's so much more than a gimmick man. I mean, if you look at him, he's a utility man, meaning that he could do multiple things. I think that's a better representation word-wise of what Taysom Hill is. And if you look at it, you only really have 2 quarterbacks, because Taysom Hill is not going to be used a lot at the quarterback position. It'll be Drew Brees, and every now and again you might see Taysom come here, and he got 13 chances to throw the ball last year out of all of the snaps that he was in the game. That's really nothing during an entire 17-week season. You threw the ball 13 times for real? That's not even 1 pass attempt a game. So, like I said, I would look at it more of 2 quarterbacks with Drew and Winston. That other kid that they have, the 4th quarterback from Mississippi State, that kid they're talking about converting him to a tight end and wide receiver, stuff like that. The Taysom Hill, he'll see more action at the wide receiver / running back. He'll come out as a quarterback and then run the ball. I mean, hopefully they can balance that a little better and give him more opportunities to throw the ball, because that'll give that package more oomph and pizzazz to it. But we'll see how it translates. But Taysom is mostly going to be used in the utility capacity. So is that 7th-round draft pick quarterback. You know, I don't ever expect him to ever be a quarterback. I don't think he's ever going to be a quarterback per se. I think he'll just be one of a utility guy that comes in and every now and then he'll throw like a utility pass, all this kind of old stuff. But I mean, they are very talented, and he's trying to get as much talent on the field as he possibly can. They like that kid, that 7th-round draft pick kid, for a tight end position / wide receiver, stuff like that. So we'll see how it plays, but that's how I see it. Jameis Winston being on a team, truth be told, man, if Jameis Winston listens to Sean Payton and more importantly to Drew Brees and takes his routine like Taysom Hill did, man, you could see a total people. And I was thinking about this because I didn't want Jameis on the team because his dysfunctional mentality, but perhaps he's never been in an environment and that didn't have him as the man. He's never been that. Matter of fact, if you think about it, since he was playing young in college and all this stuff, he's always been the man. Even when he came into the pros, he was the man of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's hard to tell a man that who's the man, who knows he's the man, that you ain't the man. Here in New Orleans, I'm telling you, Jameis Winston, you're not the man. And there's not been a situation ever in his career that he was not the man, meaning that brings you to a humble state where you then have to listen and take instruction from the man. You learn from the man who he has tremendous respect for, who had a relationship with Drew Brees prior to him coming here. And it wasn't just something that happened. He actually talked to Teddy Bridgewater about thinking about coming to New Orleans. And Teddy Bridgewater, I promise you, told him, listen, if you go and play for the Saints and learn behind Drew Brees, it'll change your life. Just like it changed Teddy's life to the point where he got a $60+ million contract from the Carolina Panthers. Come on. Now, I ask and I pray that Jameis Winston has success and prosperity throughout his life, especially as a Saint player. If he picks up just half of the discipline principles that Drew Brees teach and preaches, and utilize his methods like Taysom Hill and Teddy Bridgewater and others have that gave them immense success, listen, Jameis Winston could be something in the future. I'm just putting that out there. I know a lot of people don't like him, but you'll change your mind once he start taking Drew Brees' principles. I'm just keeping it real with you. All right, fam, we got a call coming in. Let's open the call line up here and answer the call. What's going on, fam? Thank you for reaching out to the Sports Coma who I'm speaking with. Hello, family. Are you on the line? Hello, family. All right. He clicked off there. All right, family members. Live line is open as well, family. Just to let you know, 504-475-4482 line. The number's at the top of the screen. We have some of our moderators put it in the live chat. I'm shooting through your chats right now, trying to get through everybody, acknowledging everybody. D. Granger, who that to your D? I see your family. He said, when are the biggest fish in town and the state want you to stay, they'll give you anything. That's true, family. They definitely will, if you're the big fish and we're a small pond, but that wasn't always the case. Welcome to the Sports Coma.
Hello.
How you doing, family? Can you hear me? I can hear you, family.
Hey, Q, I can't hear a word you're saying, man. If you're talking.
All right, family saying he can't hear me. All right, hold on here, family. Hello. All right, fam. I can't for whatever reason I'm gonna have to reset the line so he can actually hear me. All right, family. I'm gonna reset it and bring him back here. I don't know why he can't hear me there. All right, reset. We're going to chime in. All right, family, do that again. Hit it back. I had to reset everything. Sometimes that does happen. Paul says, you still doing good health-wise. Vamp, yeah, D, big ups to my dog D, who had went through that trial. Heavy C says, Big Q, if we resign Winston next year, when can he command for money? It depends. Like if you can get him on a multi-year contract, because he would still have to prove himself next year. I don't think he proves nothing this year. You can watch in preseason. It'll be similar. It'll be very similar to Teddy Bridgewater. I'm just going to keep it real with you. It's going to be real similar to Teddy Bridgewater. All right, family, can you hear me on the line?
Yo, hello?
Yeah, can you hear me, fam?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. We got traction now. All right, who's calling the line, my brother? How you doing today?
Oh, this is the Iceman.
Iceman. All right, Iceman. Good to hear you, family. What's on your mind, my brother? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I just wanted to comment on a couple of things you were talking about. Yeah, I was listening when you was talking about, the whole Sean Payton thing and, how he just needs to run the ball and stuff like that. And I agree with that. I think this will be the year that he finally decides to run the football, because I don't think he has any other option but to run the football. I mean, we need this. We need Drew to be crisp and fresh in the playoffs, man. And but I do have a couple of things that I'm kind of unsure about as far as them letting go of Warford. And you can tell me your opinion on it, but I like Warford, and it's just something about, I'd rather go in the playoffs with a veteran on the O line than trusting in a rookie that's never been in such an intense moment before. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And not only that, but in the playoffs, it's a mixture of veterans and young talent. And I understand why they want to get younger, but the teams that we're going to be playing against, they're going to be playing against veterans, people that, know all the nuances and all the little things to help them gain an advantage and stuff like that. So I thought, losing Warford would be kind of pivotal. But on the second hand, that basically makes Cesar Luis have to play better, or whoever's going to be in that position, whether it be, McCoy. It basically guarantees that McCoy or Ruiz is going to have to step up in that position. And I think that's a lot of pressure to put on them, especially if they come out and they do aggravate the fan base at first and stuff like that. Right. That's a lot of pressure to put on them, as a rookie. So you basically putting him in the corner, like you have to, we let him go a 3-time Pro Bowler. You have to, carry that weight, On the defensive side, I said this on the last live, but I'm going to reiterate it again.
Okay.
In my opinion, I think we have a top 5 player in every level of the defense. I think we have a top 5 defensive lineman in Cam Jordan. I think we have a top 5 linebacker, even though Demario Davis doesn't get the media coverage and the adulation that he deserves. I think he's a top 5 linebacker. I mean, you have a top 5 corner in Marshawn Lattimore when his mind is right, when he's in the game, and not playing lackadaisical. And as much as Marcus Williams gets on my nerves, I think Marcus Williams is a top 5 safety in this league. I really do. He really is good. I wish he could do better with the ankle tackling, but I'm saying all that to say this. We have every piece of the formula for a championship, and I don't think that the destination needs to be anything less than that. And with the defense getting better, and the special teams acquisition, a guy that can explode in Deontay Harris, and I just wanted to point that out. Like, we have all the necessary tools to win. I think it's just a matter of Sean Payton calling the right games at the right moment and not getting him in his own way, and costing the team sometimes,
Right. I get what you're saying, Ice Man. I think that's a valid point, and I agree with you in terms of the talent level of the team. And I've often been saying this for a minute, that the Saints right now over the last several years or so, they are at the level that for so long that we have been waiting for. They are a perennial Super Bowl threat for the last several years. And we just being patiently waiting because at times it was all about, the running game and the defense. For a while, it was the offense carrying the whole thing. Then it was the defense not doing what it was supposed to do. Then the defense came online. Then you start seeing the defense wake up and start to get sacks. Then the offense kind of fell asleep a little bit, and the defense was winning games. But that's just how it is. Sometimes your offense will win and win games for you. Sometimes the defense will. Special teams will kick winning field goals to seal contests as well. The last couple of years, the Saints overall, from a regular season perspective, have been lights out. 11 wins 3 seasons ago. 2 in the back-to-back 13 in 3 campaigns. All the last 3 years have been a culminative, very sad effort in the playoffs, with ultimately in anything short of an NFC championship route, which we had with the Rams. We went there and we didn't lay it all on the table, dropping touchdowns, Dan Arnold, and missing blocks, missing tackles, miscues, penalties, and the likes. When you play like that and you shoot yourself in the foot, you're not going to have that success. So I know the Saints can dominate the regular season. It's what happens the team mentality wise, when the playoffs turn on. That is the issue that I've seen over the last 3 years. What's happening in the playoffs? Because you have the talent, you have the scheme. What is the issue then? Why are you falling short of Super Bowl wins when you have everything it takes to win? And that is in this season, because it's getting drastically and dangerously close to Drew Brees is hanging it up. So if that's indeed the case, that's why I was saying Sean Payton will be inspired to run the ball more. Them tweaking the offensive line. I hear you on the fact that you have rookies going against professionals out there in terms of Ruiz doing a center. Center is a very important position, period. A lot of pressure is going to be on young Ruiz to perform in the center, but he is lights out. Trust me on that. I called the guy LaCharles Bentley. I'm not kidding. This guy will be a talented player for you at the center position. Now, every rookie struggles, no doubt about it. We're just going to have to help them work on that. But this is a good move. And I understand what you're saying is, why get rid of Larry Warford? He's making, why get rid of Larry Warford? He's been here for 3 years, 3 Pro Bowls. He's played at a higher level than he's ever had. I get that argument. And people say, well, money. Well, you could have renegotiated his contract if that was simple. The Saints didn't want to do that. They just felt it was better just to cut their losses, get rid of Larry Warford, and go more of a cheaper route. In a better world, Larry Warford could have signed to a cheaper deal. It's not like he wanted to go anywhere. You could have re-signed him to a cheaper deal and cut Nick Eason and got you $5 million off of him, and then a remade deal with Larry Warford with exponentially cheaper bottom line. But they chose to the opposite. But I can still see what they were trying to do in terms of free up money and seeing Ruiz as a higher impact in the center of the line now going into the future.
Yeah, man, I agree with that, man. I agree with that. I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna get up out of here, but I'm gonna leave you with one question though, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So when the season, starts and stuff like that, and I just want to, put this out there for everyone. With all the seasons, or the past 3 seasons that the Saints have, floundered and stuff like that,
mm-hmm.
do you think, as a fan base, our expectations are too high, or do you think that we overrate the team before we get a chance to see how they really do, in crunch time and stuff? But I'm gonna let you answer that, and I'm gonna hop back in the chat.
All right, appreciate you, Ice man. Who that to you, my brother, and be safe out there.
All right, man. Who that?
No, Ice man. I don't think that we have higher than our expectation. We ain't setting our expectations too high. It's just so at times, we recognize, and the team recognize, they really do believe deep down inside that they're a Super Bowl team. And we do and we're not being fooled by what they're saying. We're looking at the product on the field. All of the talent that the Saints have in summation, all of the talent. The running, wide receivers, tight ends, lines, DBs, linebackers, the scheme, coaches, coaching at those levels. We're not being fooled by that. This is a Super Bowl team. But there are issues. It's not perfect. They're far from perfect. And that far from perfectness shows when they hit the playoffs. And it's almost like a mind switch or change that you can't apply, like all the success and the schemes and things that you've done in the regular season. Why are you not executing these things in the playoffs. And we understand that the playoffs, and we see that the regular season and the playoffs is two different levels. You have to ratchet up your attention. Maybe that's where the issue lies right there. Is the fact that the mentality is not going up where it's supposed to be, and you still perceiving it like it's the regular season. Even though it's the playoffs, you cannot play regular season football in the playoffs. That's what's been the problem with the Saints. The Saints have been trying to play regular season football in the playoffs, and it's not working. You have to be able to bring your best and brightest plays in there and have some stuff that you've been working on that you ain't been showing a lot. You know, you sprinkle a little bit of this on here and this during the regular season, but then you have a playoff playbook that you utilize as well to hit some different nuances to kind of awaken your opponent up. I think that's a portion of it as well. So, I mean, the mentality, we cannot continually shoot ourselves in the foot. I think a lot of it is likened to having issues, miscues, shooting ourselves in the foot in the playoffs, and being undisciplined, playing undisciplined football, not being prepared for the playoffs. Regular season, we win in championships, but when it comes down to playoffs, we can't seem to get it right, and that needs to change. Welcome to the Sports Coma family. Who I'm speaking with? Hello, family. All right, family dropped out, couldn't hear anybody. 504-475-4482, family, get your calls in. Thanks for that, Iceman. Appreciate the call, bro. All right, fam, thanks for calling the Sports Coma. Who I'm speaking with?
Hello.
Hello, you're live on air, fam. How you doing?
What up, my man Q? This is DeWright. How you doing?
What up, DeWright? How you feeling, fam?
Hey, I'm staying safe, my man. I got a question for you.
Yes,
it's
sir.
really not a question, but just something for the fans and our Who Dat Nation fans.
Mm-hmm.
What does Tampa Bay do if Tom Brady goes down? See, we have a backup. So for all
question.
of them talking that, because remember this, I don't know if he got hit in the AFC, but he will get hit in the NFC.
Oh, yeah.
So what does he do? So just answer that question, and I'm out, man. Love talking to you, brother.
Thank you, DeWright. Be safe out there in Florida, my brother. Who that to you? Well, what they do is they start running away. They retreat. What Tampa Bay gonna do is they're gonna retreat into wait till time come back mode. That's pretty much what it is, because I got the depth chart up right here, and let me see if I can share it with the Great Saints think tank. And if Tom Brady does go down, it's not gonna be a pretty sight, because behind him is Blaine Gabbert. Blaine stinking Gabbert is their backup. So if Tom Brady goes down for any length of time, boy, they are in trouble. Behind Tom Brady is Blaine Gabbert, Bus, and Ryan Griffin, who's actually a pretty decent quarterback here. Griffin is actually a pretty decent little quarterback, but still not enough to be able to carry no team. But they're in trouble, man. They are in trouble if Tom Brady goes down. So that's just a little explanation on there. So you're absolutely right, right? So when it comes down to is keeping Tom upright, which makes it even more imperative that the Saints get the pass rush situation together to get after quarterbacks that can't move like Tom Brady, you know, because he's a statue back there. He's a statue. You just got to get to him. But appreciate the question there, DeWright. Much love to your family. Thank you. And that's what I'm saying. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. It's all bad because Blaine freaking Gabbert is the backup. How about that? How about that? Blaine Gabbert. Oh, my goodness. That's terrible. They should see. That's what happened when you sell out for Tom Brady. They could have very well kept Jameis Winston. He just wanted $1 million. You could have signed him to $1 million to have him to sit behind Tom Brady. You didn't really have to lose Jameis Winston. He could have had a similar situation as a Teddy Bridgewater effect. So in essence, I think in the end, for the long-term prospect of this might be an issue. Or perhaps Tom Brady didn't want Jameis there because he didn't want the competition, a la Joey Garoppolo. So good question, DeWright. Thank you for that, family. Inevitable Expertise says people at Walmart look at me. Tell them Big Q is talking. Oh, Steve says Big Q, Sean Payton calling in playoffs is too conservative. That's right. It is too conservative, and that's why he lost to the Rams. Even he said that after the game. I remember playing that interview after that post game I did after the Rams game. Him playing it, and later on during that week, I played those post game interviews from Coach Payton saying that we didn't get robbed and that I was too conservative with my play calling. He would then criticize himself. The last couple of years, he's been doing a really good job of doing that. This past year, not so much. It's like, oh, I got it all together. And you can never think about that like that. You can never think about it because there's always somebody smarter than your ass doing what you're doing. So you can't always think about I'm the mess. It's good to be confident. Don't get me wrong, but still you have to be able to take innovation and take constructive criticism to improve yourself. Yeah, just a take. All right. Kelly says, let's see. Derek says, I purchased mine from the NFL shop, but just know the color rush doesn't come with raised letters. Okay. Paul says, yeah, Kelly, if you're trying to upgrade the secondary, why keep PJ Williams and Marcus Williams, Patrick Robinson, and let Bell and Apple walk? Interesting questions. PJ Williams as a safety has applications, has potential. Listen to me. PJ Williams, the safety, has potential. Did I think the Saints signed him back as a cornerback? I don't even know about that one because you can't help but to think if you seeing the same tape that we seen pertaining to PJ Williams when he played the safety position, you cannot help but say, damn, PJ Williams as a safety has application. I like that because he don't have no problem coming up with making the tackles. He's, like I said, the best tackle and defensive back you have. So if you could change his position to safety and then make Chauncey Gardner-Johnson the cornerback, you're doing something right there. So I'm thinking maybe that's the line. Hopefully they're not bringing PJ Williams back. And I'm saying safety family because if you look at all the stuff that they did around the defensive back room, which is they added the guy from the XFL, they had it and a bunch of other players as well, but you still have Patrick Robinson who redid his contract, who they like a lot. You have the XFL player. You have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who we know is going to play that slot position. PJ Williams is not going to battle Patrick Robinson for the fourth nickel spot. That's just not going to happen. So I have to say, if you look at it from a safety perspective, I got to say that, and I could be wrong on this one, but I want to say, hopefully I'm not, that PJ Williams is a safety as opposed to a blooming cornerback when Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Patrick Robinson is there. You know, come on now. All right. Thank you for that. Good question there, Paul. Good mention there. Paul says Bell would be if he didn't turn our offer down. He did. And Ingram on us turned us down and went somewhere else for the same money or took less. He thought he was going to get more to go to Cincinnati. The Saints went to him and offered him a contract. He said, no, I can't be mad at that. So the Saints said, you know what? Well, that's on you. And went and got Malcolm Jenkins. Malcolm Jenkins will help the Saints in ways that Darren Sharper did in his first year. Not the second year, but the first year. And you understand how impactful Malcolm Jenkins' game is. He knows that defense. He has that vision. He knows how to tackle. And Marcus Williams, before we get rid of Marcus Williams, let's pump the brakes on that. Let's see what he looks like as he is training and learning from Malcolm Jenkins. Let's pump the brakes on that because I really think Jenkins is going to help elevate his game like Breeze is going to help elevate Winston. I'm keeping it real. You can't help but to learn from somebody like Malcolm Jenkins and Drew Brees. Keeping it real. Thank you, family. Travis says we're going to send Malcolm Jenkins to get number 12. Could very well be. Paul says, oh, this is the Williams brothers last year to do anything in the Saints uniform. Scoop says, some Clorox, some frog tape, some fabric paint. I can make some color rush jerseys. 1999 medium. But yeah, family, that's the great thing about it, man. If you look at it, is that they've been doing a pretty damn good job, to be honest with you, building this team. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I got to keep it real with you on that. I got to keep it real with you on that. So, family, we're getting close to the end of the show. 2 hours and 30 minutes. Wolf of the phone. I'd like to thank Iceman and DeWright for chiming in, family, and all the beautiful family members for chiming in the show. 2 hours and 30 minutes on the Sports Coma tonight. Kyle Walter, who that to you, family? Good to see you in the live chat as well. Big ups to you. Good to see you. And just to hit some of the family members with some of the stories that we did before, before they came in, to give a brief synopsis, I guess I could say, about the stories we covered earlier in the show. We talked about Larry Warford being released, a 3-time Pro Bowler, been here for 3 years, 3 Pro Bowls released. Saints free open over $7 million in cap relief with a $5 million cap hit coming on the books. So they've opened up the money, more than enough money to be able to sign their own draft picks, and perhaps freeing up extra money to possibly go after another player in the free agency, or perhaps going after a guy like Elvin Kamara, giving him money. So either way, it does provide monetary options for the Saints, but they felt like it was the end of the road for Larry Warford. They released him. Then, of course, we covered the New Orleans Saints schedule 2020. We covered it in its entirety. We went over the entire game and whatnot. Tampa Bay, the Raiders, Green Bay, Detroit, all that. We went over the entire schedule. And a lot of the family members in the chat also chose what they thought was going to be the end result of the schedule. Of course, with my picks is 13-3, and no worse than 12-4. I think the Saints get it done. I don't have any issues with that. Very entertaining games in the schedule. But my focus and intention will be on the playoffs. What do you do in the playoffs after 3 straight seasons of playoff failure is where my eyes pick up after the season starts. That's what I'm focusing on. I'm going to enjoy the regular season, but my intention is totally on the playoffs to see if this team can rectify 3 years of wrongness. We'll see. That's the schedule. And also, we also covered the full Saints unofficial depth chart, which we talked about. Everybody went over all of the positions, all of the players. We covered that in today's show as well. So a full show today for the family members on this magnificent Sunday as well. So without further ado, I'm going to wish a lot of the beautiful Black and Gold family members much love to you before we head out stream. Thank you for all the beautiful things that you guys do and the class in which you guys do it. I thank you for all that you bring. All the Patreon champions, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for what we do. And there'll be another show on Q with Big Q coming soon. Might be, I will say probably it'll be tomorrow morning when it'll be released sometime around 12 o'clock. So be looking out for the On Q with Big Q. We have some more video content that'll be coming up next week. That'll be released. Videos covering the Saints team and stuff that we've been doing over the last several years, like do the Saints have a top 10 defense? We'll cover that in a new video, and other questions built around different questions. We'll have videos coming out. The Patreon champions and our pro stars on YouTube get access to them videos first. They get to watch all that stuff maybe a day or two before everybody else gets it. It's just how it's designed, I guess. And then, of course, on Q with Big Q, a show we talk about a little bit of everything outside the Saint talk, Pelican talk, and all that other stuff, politics and other stuff we talk about is also available on patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. And before we go, I like to kind of move on to the portion of the show when we show the ads. We show the ads on the show. So become a member of Patreon. We're doing big things. You can go to patreon.com/the PRO Media Network, like I said, and sign up, and you can be able to see a lot of the hidden content as well. Then the Pro Shop is the platform store. So literally dozens of hundreds of products available. We just released, 3 or 4 new shirts. The Drew Orleans shirts with the Florida Leaves Volume 2. It's actually called the Best QB, Best City shirt. That's what we call it, but it's available on the Pro Shop. And what's going on right now, you can get 15% off from your purchase from the Pro Shop by using the code Stay Strong, all lowercase letters, Stay Strong. The links for the store are in the description section below the video. All the links are for the Patreon, for the Spreaker, all of that stuff. And speaking of Spreaker, Pro Radio is what we call it. Pro Radio, which you can listen to all of the shows in their entirety in audio format. Spreaker.com/the PRO Media Network. It's in the description section as well. You can sign up. join it and listen to the audio streams at work or whatnot. So that's some of the stuff that we got going on. And of course, we have a couple of other great things coming on board too. As far as the reporters are concerned, we're still working on several reporters coming on. Bob Rose is coming back. We are in communications. That's what one of the family members told me, that we are confirmed. Bob Rose is definitely coming back. We just have to work out the date with him. They told me that he kind of under the weather right now. So we're going to pray for Bob Rose. Hope Bob's all right. So much love to our Saints News family over there who's doing terrific work. Much love, Bob. Hope everything is well with you and as the like. So you'll definitely have Bob Rose among other people coming in. So we'll have all that for you and a lot of great content. So it's just a way of saying thank you as the Great Saint Think Tank continue to grow. A lot of people are paying attention, and I thank and love and appreciate all of our people, the new and established family members that are here. Ernest, what up, Ernest? Ernest Adams, who that to your family? He said, I made it. Do you guys discuss Devin Bro ESPN interview, especially the parts while he was let go? We did that the middle of the week show, Ernest. And you can go and check it out, family. We did it in the middle of the week show. We did reaction as well, but I played a large totality of not the entire interview, but a lot of the interview with its cursing and everything. That was in the middle of the week show, the Thursday show. You can go back and listen to it on there, but we covered a lot of that on there, and I give a little breakdown on that as well. So I'd like to thank all the beautiful Black and Gold family members for chiming in the live stream today. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Please feel free to hit the like button before you leave. If you're not a subscriber, feel free, and I give you the invite to join the Great Saints Think Tank by hitting that subscribe button. Hit your notification bell for future content and more information from the platform. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Hit the Pro Shop up. And remember, right now, even the Teespring is giving 10% off on top of my 15% discount. So you can actually get 25% off if you sign up with Teespring for notifications. They give you 10 plus the platform gives you 15. So you can basically be 25% off on goods from the Pro Shop. So you can look good and support the platform at the same time. So they got the God is a Saints fan shirts in different colors, women, men, children, all kind of stuff. It's literally hundreds of dozens of products available over there. Just go take a look. Link in the description section below. Thank y'all. Y'all be safe. Be looking out for the rest of the family members. Be looking out for the new On Q with Big Q to be posted. I want to say Sunday morning around 12 or before 12 for the new show. Thank y'all for joining. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Peace. Who dat? And I'm out.
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. #1 sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons. We won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies in the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game, party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or robbery could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.